brought out some maps that looked good to me, and one showed me a spot he said he knowed, so I straddled my Jeep and headed down the road.
I'm Jess Rogie. Jupiter's moon Europa is a freezing mini-world that's a bit smaller than the Earth's moon, and it's believed to have liquid ocean lurking beneath its icy crust. Monica Grady, chancellor at Liverpool's Hope University, said it's almost a racing certain that Europa is home to alien beings. She also believes that life could be hiding in deep caves on Mars, as these underground sanctuaries are sheltered from dangerous radiation. Grady also states that environmental conditions which caused the evolution of life on Earth are highly likely to be found in other star systems. NASA scientists are on the verge of exploring Jupiter's ocean moon Europa for signs of alien life. The researchers say Europa is our best shot at finding biological life in the solar system. NASA is priming 2 probes, including one that will land on its surface, to explore the distant moon in detail within the next decade, the agency says. PhD student Jared Voris spent years studying Tyrannosaurus bones, and while he was looking into the evolution of the species for his master's, Voris found one set of fossils that stood out from 4 species of Tyrannosaurus known in Alberta, Canada.
And so that's just one of the characteristics that we kind of initially saw and was like, okay, this is something unique. We haven't seen this before in other Albertan Tyrannosaurs, so this must mean it's a unique feature or to a unique species.
According to the study published in the Journal of Cretaceous Research, the creature was 8 feet tall and the length of a school bus. It weighed approximately 2 tons and had 2.7-inch long serrated teeth. Darla Zelensky says, "We chose a name that embodies what this Tyrannosaurus was, the Reaper of Death." In a recent poll by PeopleSay.com, over 30,000 Americans were surveyed to find out what they thought about the UK's decision to declassify UFO files and whether they believed in alien conspiracy. 61% of the Americans surveyed wants the government to declassify its own UFO files. 50% are excited about the UK's decision to declassify its UFO reports. 63% of millennials and Gen Xers want the U.S. to release the files, and 58% of the people believe that the U.S. government is investigating extraterrestrial life. Just in time for Valentine's Day, a heart-shaped UFO as big as the moon was spotted on the sun, experts claim. The experts note that the alleged alien vessel on the giant star could be as big as the moon. The strange UFO sighting was made by Scott Waring of the ET database. This is the Rogie Report news on the Fringe.
We control all the newspapers and the television.
What's going on, ladies? It's me, the Night Stalker from the Night Stalker News. Are you dreading a lonely night on Valentine's Day? Well, have no fear. I'll be on standby for you live on the Fringe FM Friday night, 9 p.m. Pacific. You can take part in a once-in-a-lifetime chance to bid in a date with me. It's 2020, and apparently e-dates are all the rage right now. Enjoy a virtual, romantic evening with the Night Stalker at your expense. But look at it this way. You get a night with a handsome man on Valentine's Day, and I get a new news studio. If that's not love, I don't know what is. Come bid and be my Valentine. Friday night, February 14th, on Light in the Void. Live, only on the Fringe FM.
stretches of the unknown and the unanswered and the unfinished still far outstrip our collective comprehension.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting from Forest Tower Studios, all the way from the Deep South. Now, here is your host, Joe Root.
Broadcasting from a shack on a hill, once again in the Mossy Creek bottoms of Cane Creek, Arkansas. This is Lighting the Void. I'm your host, Joe Root. It's Thursday night, February the 13th, on into Valentine's Day, the 14th. And my brother from another spiritual mother is here with us. It's been too long. Tobias Lars is back with us, and we're going to be discussing some deep stuff. You can't have Tobias Lars on your show and not have an ultra deep conversation. It gets quite spiritual and it gets quite deep and shadowy sometimes, but that's what we got to do. We got to work this stuff out, right? And we got the guy here that, I don't know, it's hard to explain. When I first heard him do his show about the shadow on his YouTube channel, I knew right then and there that he was a brother. And what I mean by that is, you know, a void walker like us, but a little bit more experienced, I think you'll see, than I am with this stuff. So, yeah, he's got courses. He's a spiritual guide, coach, and he's helped a lot of people. So it's good to have him back on the program. That's coming up shortly. Also, don't forget that tomorrow night we are going to do the bid. We're going to be bidding Night Stalker off on an E-date. And what Night Stalker has done is because he's decided that he doesn't really need any equipment or anything like that. So all of the money that you ladies bid on, that's going to go to the Multiple Sclerosis Society, the National MS Society is where it's going to go to. And that was verbatim via the Night Stalker. He's the one that called for it, and so that's what we're going to do. And, yeah, you'll just have to call in. Call in when it starts, right? So as soon as the show starts, if you want to get in, because we only got 4 lines, and I can only hold 4 people, and that's the way we're going to do it. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to take the first 4, and then when somebody loses out, then we'll let that line go, and then we'll open it up for somebody else to jump in, and we'll go from there until, you know, everybody gets real quiet and there's only one bidder left, right? And then that's what's going to happen. Now, there's other stuff. We got kind of like surprises, and we just don't want to give it away, but it's going to be fun. So if you happen to know you're going to be alone on Valentine's night, then, well, you probably want to get involved. Sorry about that. I had to make sure we were up on the station. Also, you can join the Fringe FM chat. Go to thefringe.fm/chat. If you go to thefringe.fm, you can hit chat, and it should take you to a link in there. And some of you are still hanging out in the welcome room, or maybe you're lurking. I don't know. But there's a little hashtag there that says main hall. That's where you go. You go in there, and that's where all the cool people hang out. Also, I want to give a big shout out to ancientlifeoil.com, getthetea.com, and Barbara Charlton's Metaphorical Archaeology. Please give them a call if you've had some type of stress after a paranormal event and you need to get it healed. 214-995-3754. Also, check out UFO Seekers, who we love with all our heart because they're holding on to the real deal in ufology at UFO Seekers on Twitter, youtube.com/UFO Seekers, and give them a call. If you've had a sighting, 661-UFO-7889. So I hope all of you are ready for that because it's happening regardless. I'm kind of nervous about it myself. I've never done anything like this, but I'm pretty good at captaining stuff on the radio. So it could, either way, look, it's going to turn out to be a complete success or it's going to turn out to be a complete disaster. I don't know, but either way, it's going to be fun. And that's what you want to do on Valentine's night. You want to have a blast. We all want to have fun. Now, Tobias is here with us, and he's from, he went to school. He got his master's in Mensa, and he lives in Arizona, right? He's a resident of Sedona, Arizona, and a spiritual teacher and business consultant. He's got over 25 years experience in physical and spiritual healing. In his very career, he has also been the founder of 2 international trading companies, a national seminar leader in cutting-edge consciousness development, owner of a video production company, and a yoga teacher. And he currently works as a spiritual coach or a spiritual counselor focusing on soul activation and soul counseling out there, and you're still in beautiful Sedona, aren't you? Isn't that where you're at?
Back and forth. I'm actually in Phoenix at the moment, and it's during the winter when it's cold. I'm a total wimp, so we're down here. But back and forth, and you know what we're probably gonna talk about tonight a little bit about. I've been going through a personal upgrade, total purge, and so there's a Chinese doctor I see down here, and a shaman healer that I actually see down in the Valley of the Sun in Phoenix. So I'm spending some time down here too.
Oh, cool. A personal purge, though. That I'm curious about that. Are you talking about like a physical ailment or a spiritual thing? I mean, I don't want to pry or anything, but
no, it's all the same. You know, we're made of energy, so we've been taught to buy off. So my experience of it is it's one thing. In fact, last week I was feeling the body and the spirit flipping back and forth. Like, you know, we learn I'm not the body, you know, I'm a spirit. And then that's like an awakening, right? When we start the first step or whatever we hear about it on the awakening path. Oh, I'm actually an eternal soul or spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And, but lately I've been feeling, so then you can negate the body by diminishing or, you know, sort of not taking the body as seriously. And maybe in yogic traditions and other things that I've done in other lives, I'm going to try to keep it to myself today, like my actual experience. We tend to go, oh, big deal. You know, I can heal the body, you know, but it's sort of like a dictatorship. It's sort of like the way we treat, you know, beasts of burden, like donkeys or something. We sort of make them do what we want them to do. Like whenever I see somebody jogging or running and they're kind of like, they're not cooperating with their body, they're punishing it. You with me?
Right. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like we've made it, the flesh is weak and a beast of burden, and it's somehow lesser than the spirit, than the soul. And so lately I've been like, oh, I've spent eons or whatever, you know. There's no time in the galaxy. We're actually walking void walkers. We're time walkers. We're time and space walkers. And void, you know, I love that, the void walkers. It's smart because that's the crack between the worlds, you know.
Yeah, that's where we go first, right? We got to find the empty stuff and then go, what's this about? That's what that's where I'm at.
Don't you think? Because we've been so fixated on the material that we need to go, hey, wait a minute, you know. But so lately for me, the body is if we're going to turn into energy, right? Okay, thank you, Einstein. You know, it's all theory, but E equals MC squared is pretty much a reduction of the material world into pure energy. You know, may not be entirely accurate. That was Einstein's conception at the time. There's finer things. If you talk to Metatron, maybe he's got, you know, a little finer formulas than Einstein's stuff. But so there's I took it for granted. I could heal my body. I remember one night, you know, having grace or the inner body awakening, which is one of the main techniques that I share or would like to share with people. And then I've not invented it. There's nothing new under the sun. Everybody we're run around and peddle stuff as the latest and the greatest thing, but it's all reinvented from Egypt, Lemuria, Atlantis, Pangea. Yeah. You know, it's magic, you know, whatever. And the inner body is a way to get in touch with feeling your body as energy, not just knowing that. It's just like there's researchers and there's experiencers. Right?
That's right, yeah.
There's researching and there's experience. Researching is kind of cool to get you sparked, the interest sparked. But at some point, you got to get in the pool.
Right, yeah.
You can watch videos of people getting in the water all day long, right? But you're still not going to know what it feels like. So the inner body is an ancient Shiva technique of feeling your hands, your feet, but your inner energy. It's also been called Nidra Yoga sometimes. And it's just a way of putting your attention on your energy field, your body as an energy field. So I've been experiencing my karmas. I'm short of breath right now, and have been for the last week or so.
Mm.
And there's something I'm breathing through my heart. It feels like something I'm trying to breathe up through my heart, but it's also connected to my liver. And so the illusion of health, here's where I'm at with it. The illusion of healthy, right?
That's all right, dude. I erased it. I got a button to erase that stuff now, so we're all good, brother.
That's great.
Yeah, I'll do it sometimes too. It's all cool, man.
That's cool. I like it.
We're good though.
Well, dang it.
I can hear your frustration though, brother. I can.
No, it's all good. I was reading somewhere, they said that it's intelligent people that swear a lot are more intelligent and more free thinking. But that whatever. And but so we've I'm going to lose my thread of thought here. Oh, so I'm purging ancient stuff. And you can look really good, you know what I mean? I mean, the obvious example is someone who's a bodybuilder. The surface looks great, but as often we know, a lot of bodybuilders later on in life have all kinds of problems, and from taking various overstimulants.
Yeah.
Well, you can overstimulate your body with spirit light. Okay. You can sort of Kundalini override your body.
All right.
Like enslaving a wild horse or a dog. You can train dogs to do all kinds of stuff because they're pure-hearted, but you can run them to death. You can hurt them. Well, we can do this same with our bodies. Our bodies are like that. So there's lots of old quotes. Just because it's spiritual doesn't mean it's loving, right?
Oh, I know that for sure.
Yeah, and we have to learn that, right? And usually we learn it by experience, So overriding the body is maybe an old method instead of including it. So lately, I can feel that I'm asking to clean up my folder file, right?
Yeah.
As a soul. And that's not for everyone, but that's different than I just want to live a peaceful life. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It's like Mussolini, can you just make things safe and the trains run on time, man? And or I just want to work somewhere and make my pension and get my money and be able to go fishing. That's fine. Or you like right now, America, in my opinion, is we've gotten a little selling out to comfort or
Yeah.
hey, as long as we got beers and bud and man, I don't care. But then one day, you got Bernie running for president. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
and he's got a shot at it. It's like, what? How did this happen?
Yeah.
I'm joking, but let's be real. The guy's not very humorous. He's not very,
he looks pissed off all the time.
He's pissed off all the time. I don't trust anybody that can't laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some axe to grind, and anytime you get someone with an axe to grind, it's dictatorship time coming down the road. You know what I mean? So I don't care how you dress it up. So when we think comfort there is divine comfort, the comforter, Jesus talks about it, but purging is not that comfortable. To be honest, when your body needs to kick something out, the first things that happens in ayahuasca ceremonies is you purge because the body's toxic and your spirit's toxic. We have accumulated debris. I call it soul tartar buildup. And, it's So I'm not recommending this to anybody because it's really, it's an intense process, purgatory. I'm not into suffering. I'm not into that. There has to be, those old images, so it has to be suffering. But I don't know anybody who's ever crossed the great divide without facing down their demons, or dissolving their demons.
Yes,
They're
sir.
old, they're old patterns, and they don't usually respond with, "Hey, would you mind not doing that anymore? It's hurting me." You know what I'm saying?
No, they get mad. They get mad and they stir up stuff. That's when you know it's working.
It's like bullies, you know what I mean? It's exactly. So, I have chosen on some level to try to do major cleanup this lifetime, and I'm doing really well. And I'm getting anyone who does it, there's so much help right now from all dimensions, but it's still not that easy. Once you get in the pool and you're afraid of water, there's some trepidation, you know what I mean? Learning to swim the astral ethers in the fourth and fifth and sixth dimension, and dealing with, mind control and nasty psychic weaponry and stuff. It's probably part of the deal, but you can't bypass it. You can't go, "Oh, it's all going to be fine if I just look the other way." That's denial. It doesn't work, So it's kind of a fine thread to when you set out your soul to reclaim. So I've been purging some stuff physically, emotionally, psychically, and I've asked for it. I'm really glad. I'm excited about it. And at times I'm down on the floor in my wet puddle of my old identity, having no clue, and I'm at the end of my rope.
Yeah, I understand that. I totally do.
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing that I'm getting to understand about this purging, shadow work, whatever it is. They always give you these promises, right? Like, hey, if you just if you get through this, there's something better waiting for you on the other side. Well, I don't know about all that. I don't know. I think you could go from one right into the next each time.
I think it's, in my view, I think it's different for each soul, probably. All I know is what I'm experiencing, and then I hear from other people similar things. I had a friend in Texas tonight, who died. He's very successful in the oil business for a while, and then went through having too much money and partying too much with all that, and he died. But he wasn't allowed to stay on the other side. Came back here, but he wrote me tonight. We're just honest with each other.
Yeah.
He goes, and he's just telling me, "I don't know how long I can put up with this shit anymore."
Right.
And that's just honest in the moment. And I have that too. I go between. If you're cycling the real spiritual path, to me, you've got to feel, and you're going to have all your. If you have anything written in concrete or in stone about how you think it is, it feels like those come up for renewal and dissolvement. And any rigid held beliefs, I love spelling beliefs, B-E, and then a big fat lie in the middle, L-I-E in capital letters, and then you get an F. If you be the lie, you get an F. That's a belief. If you hook into a belief system, you're hooked into a system that the universe is no respecter of persons. It just isn't. The Tao doesn't respect any of your man-made little beliefs. Come on. You know what I mean? I mean, ultimately, on one level, yes, it's incredibly gentle, incredibly beautiful, and touches you and only gives you what you can handle. But when you're ready to pop certain old patterns, they got to go. Going out of business, man, it's over. They got to go.
Yeah.
And if you resist, it hurts.
Yeah,
and,
it does.
and that's partially why Trump. I'm just going to speak plainly tonight. That's why Trump's here triggering everyone's bullshit. Because he's just here to wake us up from our sleepwalking. Oh, it's going to be fine as long as it looks good on the surface. It'll be great. What a slick, beautiful. Look how slick our president was, the one before. He looked so good. He had such good humor. Really? But what was he actually doing? It's like that Wizard of Oz thing, And so getting real, I have a little slogan, get real to heal, and not to push ourselves before we're ready, because it does hurt. There's compassion and grace, and that's what I'm learning. I was doing a character for Joy today, the Nazi spiritualist, who's like, you must be kinder. You are not nice enough, right? I've got my riding crop. If you don't treat people with kindness, I will beat you, right? It's like spiritual Nazism, right? I don't know if that makes sense to people. But it's, we push on that we should be more awake than we are. And the Tao doesn't do that. The Tao is more like water, and so I'm getting my wake-up calls. I was a bit of a spiritual beep.
Yeah, I gotta hit the button again. And listen, when you drop the F-bombs, right? You know what it does is it hold on a second, let me fix something here. It wipes out the last 8 seconds of whatever you're saying. So
I'm sorry. I will be back. I'll do it. Okay. Recalibrate. No.
It's all right, brother. I'm not worried about it. I got a button.
Got it, man. So wanting to push to wake people up is not how God and the Tao do it. And lately I've just been feeling it. The old me was a bit of that Gestapo Nazi spiritual awakener, a little bit in your face. Now, a lot of teachers are like that. And there's nothing wrong with it per se, right? It's like we appreciate the drill sergeant. We appreciate someone who kind of, reads us the riot act once in a while. It can be helpful. But something's changing for me, at least, in not being the battle axe, the warrior, the fighter for truth, the ancient knight. That has its time and place. But that's changing for me into more of a just holder of space, believe it or not, being more gentle, still wise, more funny with it, more playful. And so I'm purging these ancient, like one of my sessions just recently with my shaman friend, I was seeing it in my mind's eye, you kind of soul travel, when you're seeing other lifetimes, and you can call them, sometimes you're like clear, this is my lifetime, or other times you're just like, oh, that was just a daydream, or you might have a vivid dream at night, or, it just depends on how you classify and interpret it. But I'm kind of aware when it's something that's coming out of me, that I'm seeing it on its way out. And I was seeing, like, from Conan the Barbarian, those ancient giants, like the Viking giant kings. There's a scene somewhere in that movie where these ancient 8-foot, 10-foot, 12-foot tall, bearded, red-haired giants with 8-foot swords. And I was just replaying scenes of us murdering each other, sticking the sword down the back of the neck and cutting each other's heads off. But feeling the death of it, that each time you do that, you liberate yourself from the body. But I was there, and I know I have a lot of that in me. I've got one of my shamans who joked one time, she came up to me and said, do you mind if I pry off your armor? She's like, can you let go a little bit of that plated armor you got on you? Right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I get that. Like, I totally get what you're talking about. And now, I mean, I appreciate you sharing that part with us, because I got my own story, I'm sure. That's kind of why you're here. And a lot of people have been going through a lot of hard stuff here lately. We're on our first break, though. We got to take it, but we'll be right back with Tobias Lars. Please drop your questions in the chat. Highlight my name so I can see the question, all right? We'll be right back.
your mind. It's Lighting the Void with Joe Roop.
Listen, I want to tell you about G.I. Joy from GetTheTea.com. It's the best alchemical concoction of goodies for your stomach and digestive system I can recommend, and that's all based on my experience. Packed with colostrum, acidophilus, aloe, peppermint, and turmeric. If you do your own research, then you know this is the bee's knees for the stomach and digestion. Now, due to Big Brother's ears and the eye in the sky, you know I can't go into the details about what it helped me with. All I can say is I got relief. It's non-GMO, no fillers, no preservatives, manufactured right here in the US of A, and delivered to you by the only people who stay on top of the game and are out in front. Go grab a bottle of G.I. Joy at GetTheTea.com and see what all the fuss is about. Again, that's GetTheTea.com.
You are listening to the Fringe FM, and I'm Michael Deacon reminding you can find my show right here on the Fringe FM every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, or by going to michaeldeacon.com. The choice is yours.
Hey, this check is wrong. I worked a holiday and 7 hours of overtime. Not getting paid correctly is a real pain. It could also hurt our boss if our company provides out-of-compliance checks. That's right. Construction companies doing business with the government can get fined, or officials of the companies can go to jail if the checks aren't right. It's a law. The Davis-Bacon Act has 30 compliance issues for every check, but there is an easy way for construction companies to be in compliance. EMARS offers Compliant Client, a web-based system that finds and corrects all 30 of the possible out-of-compliance check issues. Users of Compliant Client report an 80% savings in time and money. Running a weekly payroll usually takes about 5 minutes. All 15,000 plus clients of EMARS have never had a legal compliance issue. Plus, they sleep better on check day. Contact EMARS at emarsinc.com or call 480-595-0466.
This is Lighting the Void Radio with your host, Joseph Roop. It's the show about truth-seeking and freeing the spirit, shattering your limited beliefs, revealing hidden truths, and much, much more.
We've heard your feedback loud and clear. You called it out, and now we're answering. All new live programming, 5 nights a week. Always remember, the Fringe FM is for you, the listener, and we appreciate your feedback. Keep the feedback coming. You can email us at talkback@thefringe.fm. Call the station at 501-777-5631, or send us a message on Facebook at The Fringe FM.
Hi, this is Kronox from Belgium, and you're listening to Lighting the Void with Joe Roop.
The Fringe FM isn't just a radio station. We also provide services for all your audio production needs. If you are interested in live radio or pre-recorded podcasts, we're here to help. We even do audio enhancements and voiceovers if needed. If you want to do a podcast or live radio show and even want the option to syndicate on terrestrial radio, from simple audio file enhancement to live production and call screening, we have you covered. We have worked with some of the best professionals in the business in order to provide coaching instruction for content creation, show structure, and more. Contact The Fringe Digital Media for more at info@thefringe.fm. That's info@thefringe.fm. Or call 501-777-5631 for a consultation.
All right, everyone, this is Justin from the UK. Excuse the chitty. If you're into the Fringe and you want to hear the brass tacks, my old China plate, Joe Roop, and his guests on Lighting the Void will open your mince pies. You need to shut your north and south and use your 10-speed gears and listen to them bubble. You could hear a Barry Crocker, no Brussels, but he ain't no holy friar. Anyway, you beat a Barnaby Rudge and take a butcher's.
This is Corbin, and you're listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM.
I mean, isn't that cool? I still got a recording of my son's voice when he was a little bitty, right? That's something to treasure there, because you forget what their voice sounds like when they're that age. But if you've got it recorded, then you'll always have it. So I've got 2 recordings of my son doing a station ID, one when he was like 7, and now one when he's like 15. And it's night and day. Our guest tonight is Tobias Lars. You can visit the website at tobiaslars.com. And you know what, Tobias, I've always respected you for, telling it like it is. That is like the biggest thing to me. I want somebody to tell me like it is. I don't care if it's rough, if it's brutal, if it's whatever. I can handle it. And people say, well, you're an Aries, right? You can handle that stuff. Some people can't. Well, I get all that, but still, I guess maybe they're right. I don't know, but I can't be around people that I'm learning that it frustrates me. Either you're just full of lies, or they're deceiving themselves, or I don't know what's going on. They just can't tell you the truth. And then other people that don't tell you nothing. You're just guessing all the time. Or you get some people that just are a mixture of both. And it's not a self-righteous statement. It's just like, I can't tolerate it, man. So does that make me less of a person, or does it make me less of a spiritual person? I'm trying to learn how to tolerate all this stuff.
Yeah, me too. Because I prefer people to be, I'm a Sagittarian, and I tend to be like that too. Please just tell me what you're feeling, share your heart. And why would you be hidden, and why would you hide things? I don't get it. Like, betrayal is the one thing that I, used to not be able to stand, like someone not being able to tell me what's going on,
right,
or hiding or cheating on me in relationships or something. What? Just tell me. It's okay. I'm not going to freak out. It happens. It's happened before in the universe.
Yeah.
I might have some feelings about it, but the deception. But I'm even learning to kind of try to feel what other spirits are like, and some they're not all like me. That helps me to realize they're very different. And yes, I could have a good argument for openness, or honesty is the best policy, or forthrightness. And, but I can't demand that of others, because I'm on the planet where, I don't know, about half of the 50% of all consciousness is basically in deception and denial on this planet,
Yeah.
So it's like, I like what Byron Katie says. She says, you think people should be honest and forthright and want to wake up? What planet are you on? That's not this planet. You know what I mean? But even if there's only 15% of the people on this planet that are trying to wake up, get real, to heal, or, stop poisoning the earth, or heal ourselves, have honest relationships, and, that's 1 billion people. So you're not alone. We're not alone. I like that feeling. And then if 85% are still too scared to stand up or to get real, I understand. I understand it.
It just doesn't. You don't get nowhere to me like that. Like, in my mind, time is precious. We only have a limited amount of time. And based on my experience and everybody else's experience that talks to me about it, is like, man, time sure is speeding up, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And so if time is speeding up, if you're just holding on to this stuff, you're not being honest, you're not telling people how you really feel or getting it out, then you're wasting time. You're wasting time. You just, I guess, I don't know.
It seems like there's more and more pressure nowadays. It seems like maybe, look around. Aren't things accelerating? I think a lot of us feel that.
Yeah, it does feel that way.
It seems to me that things are speeding up. Stuff's happening real quickly. And if you're still trying to hold on to stuff, the river is going to come and yank it out of your hands, and you're going to be exposed anyway. So I like that saying, the good are getting gooder and the bad are getting worse, and the crazy are getting crazier,
Yeah.
It's just more sunlight, the more it shows up.
Well, when I was going through that thing with Portland, that you contacted me, it's like, hey, man, I want to come back on your show and talk to you. And it's like, it was good because at that point in time, as many people was like, oh, Joe, you're stranded out there. That sucks. And da-da-da-da. As many people that were yelling from afar away, there was only a couple of people that really reached out, And those times, I think, you have to go through, though. You got to go through so you can realize who you are. I mean, you're not going to know who you are if you're comfortable all the time, and that's pretty much the theme of everything we've been talking about for the past 2 weeks. Shadow work, trying to understand the conscious, the unconscious, dealing with these things. And still, I go back and I say, well, maybe they're different. Maybe they've changed and this is not just relationships. This is family, you name it. Right? And nothing, you think it gets discouraging because you think people don't change. And then you got to look at yourself and go, well, am I changing? Because I feel like I am. I can't be the only one changing around here. Surely not. Then that's what makes you feel like an alien. I think is when you start to change and you see that other things don't,
Yeah. What would it feel like if we could, I'm saying is I go, God is so sweet. God is so perfect as a parent. And I say God, I didn't grow up in any church or anything. The Tao, Mother, Father, Source, our own higher selves, our own souls. There's some perfect calibration, like adjustment, What if, and so God doesn't force my little dog who's sleeping over here to try to learn trigonometry, And just because you got a human body doesn't mean we're all the same. We're not equal. We all have souls. We're all made from source. But, there's some humans that have just started in their first incarnation. And there's other beings on this planet that are fallen Greek gods that have lived for eons. And that's not the same spirit. We're not the same level of understanding. It's just not true, So you have to kind of adjust, and the universe adjusts perfectly. Or a loving source master adjusts perfectly. They treat a dog or a cobra or a Jesus or whoever, God treats them all very differently. At the level, meets them exactly where they're at. What if we met people like Swami Vivekananda used to say, talk to everyone about God, but in their language. Meaning if I'm talking about fixing cars with Adrian down here on the corner from me, who's awesome, great mechanic, and I love that he can work on my foreign cars. But he doesn't charge me like dealership prices. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so he doesn't call me back and whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not angry at him for that. I stop by, go, how you doing? What's up? Laugh with him, Or when the guys, I treat him straight. I'm talking to him about God, about I'll order the part myself, and I don't want to deal with putting it in, or can you look that up for me, check the shocks on, whatever. And we have a great time. We laugh, goof around, But if I start talking to him about the stuff I'm talking to you about, he's going to just get scared or think I'm a weirdo, So meet everyone where they're at. Talk to everyone about humanity, character, source, God, So, and then only, I'm learning this because I used to be a truth pusher, kind of like David Icke, right?
Right, yeah. He's on a campaign.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I've done that many lifetimes where we're shoving the truth. There's some of us whose job it is to be Marilyn Manson and shove it in your bleeping face. Okay? Like I remember watching the interview with Motley Crue and Marilyn Manson once, right? They were asking Motley Crue what they thought of Marilyn Manson, and they had looks of terror on their faces because their stuff is like bubblegum rock compared to what Marilyn
Manson is like, F you, F your, F what you think and what you believe. It don't, you need to take a deeper look.
He's up there playing with androgyny and sex on stage and ripping pages out of the Bible. And Motley Crue's like, no, we just want to party and drink and have sex with girls, So for them, it's a whole different, right? That's a whole different universe. So that's too much for them, right? So everyone's where they're at, or Trent Reznor compared to, some of the hair bands of the 80s or something, or whatever, Guns N' Roses. The thing is, we're all in different places. And the universe, the Tao, loves or is part of all of us, I think. And just because you think that's too much, too far, doesn't necessarily mean it is for them. So there's something about not trespassing on each other,
No.
And there's a loving way, and that's what I'm being taught right now by the God. Now, I did pretty good. I had it down, but there was still an internal wanting to, we need to wake the planet up because we're, all the evil Illuminati and blah, 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 and all this horrible shenanigans. And that's David Icke's job. And God bless him. I went to his things, and he's a true pioneer, beautiful. But it's not my job, or it's not my interest. So what we're drawn to, that you find your right place and nothing can stop you. But you try to fit yourself somewhere where you really shouldn't be, it doesn't really quite work. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't quite work.
No.
Yeah.
It is funny too, though, that I see this stuff happening. Like, I don't know if you believe in, or what your beliefs are about astrology or tarot or any of that stuff. But what I did notice was, as I was going through this stuff, I was getting on social media and other things. I'm seeing, you can see what people post, and they post all this, don't be a victim to this guy, love yourself. And then you're like, what are these people going through? Right. Because they're letting me know that they're going through something. They're letting everybody know, not just me. They're letting the world know that they're going through stuff. And they're like, wait, I'm going through that. So I got into a little bit more of astrology and was starting to listen to it. And I was like, wait a minute, these energies are playing out on everybody. They're different characters and different scenarios, but the same kind of alchemical processes are happening to people on different levels.
I see
birth signs. Really? Is that how this works? Is it the same story perpetuating in different ways with all these different stories? Because everything else in nature runs in like on a system, so to speak. So I'm starting to think maybe ours is just more complex, but there really is no new story. We all just got to keep going through these archetypal stories, so to speak.
I think there's truth to that. I mean, you can certainly see that around, like maybe you're supposed to incarnate or master the 12 signs as part of the Earth journey. Yeah, I could get that, who knows? And it's all accurate. I use the runes, and you can get overly stuck. This is my experience. Once you can overdo tarot, you can overdo the runes, you can overdo the I Ching. Like, it's sort of like, I'm going to say it crudely. No, maybe not. It's like oversexing, you can oversex, right?
Really? I got to get to that point. I'll let you know when I get to that point. Working on it.
Right. And there's a right flow and timing to, the universe. The Tao knows what. Nothing wrong with experimenting with everything. See, okay, that was too much. I ate too much, or whatever was too much. But you can overdo it. You can get over dependent on your planets. In general, the warning, in my opinion, is you contact, the psychic world. The Saint Germain says, who I believe is a real being, and I've met him several times. The real one. And there's lots of charlatans. Why do you expect that? Look, 85% of shamans and car salesmen are charlatans. So why do you think the spiritual world should be any different? 85% of the stuff is going to be power and ego and control. Right?
Right.
The slicker the front, usually the bigger the back. Right?
Yeah. And it's all coming in different ways. I can see too.
Yeah, just look at the media. You're like, oh my God, they're all so fake. They're just, when are they going to just replace them with robots? You know what I'm saying?
They already got them in there, I think, running scripts.
Yeah, I do too. I think some of those are androids.
Right. They're all saying the same stuff.
Well, that too, obviously. You have to like check your soul at the door to be a newsreader, maybe. I don't know. And not all of them, but the majority of them. I like John Rappaport. No more fake news. I like his stuff. But of course, he can't work in regular media because he's trying to be a real reporter. But I forgot the topic there, what we're into.
Well, what happens?
So, no, the tarot and all that. So you can get it. Psychic phenomena is real. But like I heard someone say the other day, at first you're an ego mess, right? You're a programmed, you were raised by your parents in your school and you're the cult of our culture. And then you go, oh, I'm going to wake up. And then all of a sudden you start getting spiritual. And then you start having some manifestation. Like, I thought of this thing and it showed up, Mm-hmm. And then you start, and then the ego goes, I am powerful.
Yeah, the megalomania sets in. You think you're creating every little thing in reality.
I am stronger and more. In fact, I am the new channel for the universe. Right? And off you go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the seduction from the fourth dimension because you're having actual manifesting phenomena, right? It's real. You can't deny it. You think of something, it shows up. The law of attraction, blah, 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 right? And sure, but that just because you're in 4D doesn't mean you're good or that you're of heart, of love. There's lots of power games in 4D.
Yeah.
In fact, that's
what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Just because you're getting manifestation of, oh, it's a sign from the universe, the license plate and the billboard. And I was just thinking that thought, and we just had a mind transference. Means we're soulmates forever.
Yeah, we're twin flames. I get that. Right?
Right? No, it just means that you tapped into the fourth dimension. That's all.
See, here's what happened to me. I'll tell you exactly. It took me a minute to figure out what was going on, and I consider myself a magician. I'm Joseph Daniel. I come from a long line of magicians. Why not? Right? Mm-hmm. So I stir the pot a little bit, like you say, and I stir the pot, and I do this invocation. I'm like, listen, I know you can hear me. I figured that out now. So can you send me somebody that's going to be my partner in the rest of my life? Because this is going too fast. If you've got one, bring them to me, because I'm tired of this. Like, I'm tired of figuring it out or thinking whatever. And then let's do that. And then I had no doubts it would happen. But here's what goes on. I think the universe kind of answers and goes, sure, yeah, we'll do that. But first, that vibration that you're giving us right now, we're going to send you that first.
There you go.
Matter of fact, we're going to send you something that mirrors exactly what you're vibrating right now, because you already got what you're looking for. But we're going to send you this to show it to you.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, hell, what have I done?
You're reminding me. Oh, it's perfect. Very good, Joe. Love it. How's that feel that you realize that?
Scary.
Yeah. I remember when I came out to Arizona to go to graduate school. There's an international business school I went to. I was thinking that we could save the world by getting everyone to trade with each other. Kind of like Trump. Let's all trade with each other and not send rockets on each other. Type thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was looking for a place to stay. And then there was this set of kind of townhouses close to the school by a little golf course. Nice, And so there were two ads, both single women, both redheads, both needed a roommate. There's like it's like Jack Johnson at the crossroads. Okay, right? You know, meeting and it was like up to me. The universe said, "Well, since there's free will choice, we're not going to tell you what to do. You choose." And I could feel even back then. I go, "This woman is cold. She looks great. And it looks nice, and the house is great, and it sounds good, and it was actually a little bit less money." Then the second woman I looked at, it just happened to be two women, and but it was so funny. They were like the same exact house, and it's like one was turned to the left, one was turned to the right. You know,
yeah, you were at a crossroads for real.
Yeah, exactly. And I realized even then something in me said, "There is no choice here. You need to go with this one." And it turned out to be the right one. It was and we ended up getting married for a while, then working out soul stuff, and we're still friends to this day. And the other one would have given me all kinds of trouble, like learning the hard way, you know. And not that I haven't learned the hard way. I've done that too. But so, yeah, I love those. We're presented with choices.
Yep.
And if we're enamored with, see, a lot of the magic, this is my opinion, is the psychic realm is very dangerous in a sense because you'll have manifestation. You know, you'll do something and you'll create stuff. And that's a ripe place for our egos then get all happy and excited about how powerful I am and all that.
Right, yeah.
Or I'm on the right track. No, you're not. You're just getting, it's, you know. So there's a lot of deception, but there has to be, it feels like to me. We have to be tempted and tried, and otherwise it's like, imagine if you were not tested all along the road. All along the watchtower, you're being tested. You're being watched by your own higher self. Because if all of a sudden you had all this success and everything went perfect, and then all of a sudden you got a really big test, you know, you're going to fail because you had no training.
Yeah.
You didn't get any chance to try it out. Like the Marine Corps, you never got to jump out of the the SEALs. No. You don't have to learn to swim. We'll just tell you you're good. You're doing good. You can swim in the pool, but you never have to swim in the ocean. You can read the books about it. You know, that's not real. But you have to be tested, I think, you know, with, is it real or is it, you know, a mimic? Is it artificial intelligence? Or even if it's a real old soulmate. Soulmates will break your heart the most.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, dadgummit. Yeah.
Dadgummit, exactly.
Well, I want to keep, like right when we're about to break, you know, we're about to break something good here. I got to take a break. So at the top of the hour, Tobias Lars here. There's a method to the madness. I promise you. We're getting somewhere deep here in just a second, and it will. Hopefully, I'm going to have a realization like I did last time when he was on here. But if not, whatever, man. We'll be right back with Tobias Lars. TobiasLars.com is the website. Stay with us. Yeah, I kind of.
You're listening to the Fringe FM.
This is Barbara Charlton from Metaphorical Archaeology. If you've ever had a traumatic paranormal experience, the effects of it may stay with you for years. Who do you talk to? You can't go to conventional help. What we do is we use emotional freedom techniques or tapping to actually neutralize the effects of that event. Maybe when you tell the story now, your heart races and your palms get sweaty. You don't even want to think about it because you don't know how to neutralize that. That's what EFT tapping does. does, it neutralizes those emotions. The circuit that was recorded on is gone. The energy flows freely and you're free of it. And that's what emotional freedom is all about. We offer this as a pro bono service, but this is something that I offer because no one, it seems, is helping people with these experiences. If you'd like to reach me, it's really easy. My cell phone is 214-995-3754. Please leave a message. I will get back to you as quickly as possible. Or you can email me, barb.eft@gmail.com. And EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. Reach out to me. It's confidential. This works. You won't believe the results.
Ew, yuck. They're unhealthy and gross. Bugs, I hate bugs. We keep a clean home, but occasionally bugs show up. Well, I found something that is tougher than bugs. Orange Guard. From contact, it kills bugs. Plus, Orange Guard kills hidden bugs and keeps new bugs away for weeks. I know. I use Orange Guard. Plus, all of the ingredients of Orange Guard are on the FDA generally regarded as safe list. Orange Guard may be used around food, humans, and pets. It promotes a healthier planet, and here's a bonus. Orange Guard cleans where it's sprayed. Plus, it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Orange Guard.
You can get Orange Guard at Ace Hardware. And listen, folks, Orange Guard is tougher than bugs, and it's safe to use. Go to orangeguard.com. That's orangeguard.com.
Paranormal News, I'm Brad Bernards. Publicly available data suggests that a Russian Inspector satellite has shifted its position in orbit to bring it relatively close to a U.S. KH-11 spy satellite. Russia has a number of what it calls space apparatus inspectors in orbit, which the U.S. government and others warn the Kremlin could use to gather intelligence on other satellites or function as killer satellites, using various means to damage, disable, or destroy those targets. On January 30th, Michael Thompson, a graduate student at Purdue University focusing on astrodynamics, posted a detailed thread on Twitter about the Russian Inspector satellite Cosmos 2542, appearing to synchronize its orbit with a U.S. satellite known as USA 245, which is understood to be one of the National Reconnaissance Office's KH-11 image-gathering spy satellites. Russia launched this particular satellite on November 25th, 2019, according to spacetrack.org. This is just one of a number of space apparatus inspectors and other curious satellites that the Kremlin has put into orbit over the past decade. Airline pilots see plenty of weird things while flying passengers from one place to another, but most of it occurs in the plane's cabin. However, what one pilot spotted outside of his plane has a lot of people talking. His name is Cesar, and he flies Airbus A320s for Viva Air, a low-cost Colombian airline. While soaring over Medellin recently, Cesar saw a strange craft and decided to film it. He then shared the footage on TikTok. It shows a metallic cube that seems to be moving at a high rate of speed, even though it doesn't have any noticeable wings, tail, or exhaust. Skeptics claim it's just a weather balloon and it isn't even moving. Others, however, claim the craft is legitimately from another planet, pointing out the recent revelation of Navy pilots observing UFOs. As yet, Cesar hasn't commented on what he saw, but he has posted more videos of the sights he sees while in the cockpit. Read the news at parabnormalradio.com. I'm Brad Bernards, Paranormal News.
Howdy, this is Catalina, and you're listening to Lighting the Void with Joe Roop.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation. And Angioprim is the result, a safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com. Or to speak with a trained consultant. Give Angioprim a call at 954-882-7221. That's 954-882-7221.
What's up, Joe? Hey, man, I just wanted to say your show, dude, keeps getting better and better and better. I love Lighting the Void and the Fringe FM.
You're listening to Lighting the Void. The call-in number is 1-800-588-0335. If you would like to text, you can text in at 501-777-5631.
All right. Tobias Lars, our guest tonight. TobiasLars.com. We are also, it is midnight 05. We have officially reached Valentine's Day here in the natural state. And where I'm sitting, we're in the hour, if you follow astrology, we're in the hour of Venus. So we're in the hour of Venus. We just touched Valentine's Day, so let's all feel the love. And now Tobias is here. And, where we left off on the break, it was kind of like when you start realizing, you were talking about how you have to meet everybody where they're at, right? As far as their level of love, understanding, and spirituality and all that stuff. And I think that's kind of where we get tossed up is we have all these expectations that we put on people, and expectations can be a nasty thing. And then you told me the story where you were literally at a crossroads, and the same thing happened to me. It was so synchronistic. And I got a text in from somebody too that said, man, that just happened to me. So you see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like these stories are happening. I mean, I listen to astrological reports where people say, okay, it's not like telling you, it's like they're telling you the weather of energy, so to speak. And this is what's happening. And I don't know. I don't know if maybe it's because my mind believes it that I'm finding it more. That's kind of tricky, But I think we're all going through these same stories like this, what they call back in the old societies, which is like astro-alchemy, so to speak.
I think the planets obviously affect us. I mean, that makes sense. The moon moves millions of tons of water on our planet every day, and we're mostly water. We're 70% water. So, and magnetism and the stars, they're all talking to our sun. So, of course it affects us. I've never studied it formally because whatever.
Yeah, right.
But I remember once just having sort of a little daydream vision of it. I saw how I was outside the solar system, like looking down on it, kind of on the ecliptic plane, and seeing the sun in the center. And then I saw, when you're a soul, you're expanded. And then at the moment of birth, you're kind of taking a soul print, like a fingerprint, like an imprint. And Saturn and Uranus and, Jupiter and the asteroid belt and, the Oort cloud and all that, the moons, they all imprint at that moment in you as you're born. And that has an effect on you. It's just like your eye color and your fingerprints do. And then as the planets rotate, they're affecting you on a soul unconscious level. Makes sense. That's what I saw. And there's a timing to it, I have a video called Make Friends with Saturn. And everybody's like, because we're so into conspiracy and anger. We're like, the black cube and the horrible Satan Saturn is eating his own children. It's horrible, right? Right? And so we all freak out. We're looking for another devil, But Saturn is part of the solar system. So you got to make friends with him. You got to figure it out. You gotta. It's like saying, "I'm going to cut off my left foot because I hate it." You know,
Right?
Not going to work. Not going to work. And so the darkness feels like I'm dealing with ancient darkness in me, or what we used to call sins or karmas, you know, and they're coming up for purging, and it's intense because we've done stuff. If you're a soul here on Earth that worth your salt, you've done some stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you don't have a boring story, that's for sure.
Yeah, and we're all unique, and rape, murder, kill. There's been a lot of war, and we've lived it. And so we've imprinted with heartbreak. I mean, every old Greek story is about someone gouging someone's eyes out or cutting someone's heart out, or, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus is not a happy ending, let's be honest, until he resurrects himself, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's not, hello, that doesn't look good. Or what? Romeo and Juliet? Pick any story. These are tragedies, you know, and heartache and destruction and you know, it's the suffering of Job, basically. I mean, war is, you know, and it's still going on. So when you're going to try to clean all that up, you're going to probably have to do some cleaning, you know?
Yeah.
And that cleaning is, nobody likes, you know, everybody's like, no, I just want to watch TV and eat donuts. You know, it's not going to work. I mean, you know, drink beer or whatever, or avoid myself, or try to run away from it, you know? And so, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Like, that's why I'm afraid now from here on out. People ask me about magic and stuff, and I say, look, just do the protection. That's all I can tell you. Do like some form of psychic protection, meditate, because I'm telling you, every time I've tried to manifest something, it's caused, you know, you like you say, you see it, man, it's good, it's happening, it's here. Or you get multiple choices. That's happened to me too. You don't just get one, you get two or three, now you got to pick. And it causes all kinds of stuff to happen that I don't know if we should be messing with yet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if we should be messing with the timeline, so to speak.
Yeah. And since you can't get three women to all get along under your one roof, you know.
Yeah, I was wondering, how does that work, you know?
Eventually it'll work, but right now it's not so good to try it.
No, but you got to be looking for one woman to get it to. I mean, if you say you're looking for one woman, you get three. If you say you're looking for three, then you got to deal with one. You can't just, why can't we just have what we want? You know, if it's kind of like a little kid, right? You telling me that I can manifest all this stuff, but yet every time we do it, there's always some kind of curveball.
At this time on Earth, maybe, you know, there's been other times when there's been real paradises, and there will be again, you know. Maybe that's my feeling on it. And right now it happens to be a sort of purgatory cycle. And so on the planet, what appears as bad things is really just we're collectively boiling ourselves. And individually, how many people do you know? I do, that are, you know, boiling their stuff, their emotions, physical stuff. It's like, you know, when does this stuff stop happening? You know, a lot of people are feeling that way right now.
Right.
Yeah. So it's kind of that time on Earth. Not to be negative about it, but it certainly is that way for me the last 2.5 years. And I've chosen it. And what's the worst that can happen? You check out, you die, right?
Yeah.
So you've done that before.
I hope so.
Well, it helps me to go, okay, it's a win-win. I die. I go, oh, okay. Now I get a life review. You know, I get to see the details. And okay, I didn't quite make it, but I have eternity to figure it out. It's like you have redos. You have unlimited redos. It's like a video game. You know, we really do. There's time is the universe. That's my sense of it. You know, it's still scary when you're. I'm scared.
Oh man, I had to hit the button again. What are you scared? No, that's dude. I don't think you and I listen. I don't think you and I could ever do like a real kind of like Larry King radio show. Like that's never going to happen. It's always going to turn out to be a good old boy type show, you know?
Hey, Johnny, whatever you can have everything in the fridge, dude.
Yeah.
But you cannot go in the cookie jar.
But what are you afraid of? You said, you know, before I had to hit the big red button, you know, I mean, what are you afraid of tonight?
I'm going to go get a big red button. I got one somewhere on here. It's, I've been dealing with like ancient fear, terror, you know?
Yeah.
I've done a lot of raging in other lifetimes. And maybe the flip coin of that is terror, you know, like the rage you put the fear of God in other people. Well, the balancing part is, well, you got to feel what you did to other people, you know? So I've been feeling sort of like, yeah, just ungrounded fear. Like it's not coming from anything.
Yeah.
Except it shows up physically in my body as like right now, a shortness of breath. And
are they saying see, because I've had that before. They're like, man, it's anxiety. Well, you don't get anxious for no reason. Like to me, I always thought, well, if it's anxiety, then there's something going on here. That's what I always thought.
Well, to me, it feels like I'm I've decided to clean up my acts, my karmas, you know, and you can say, well, there's no karma. This is made up. It is what it is, you know, and I flip between real release and complete let go, and I can watch my personality change. I'm a lot more compassionate and a lot more kind, you know. So part of this, I think this process, it depends on what we're here to do. And so I'm being asked to upgrade, which I really appreciate, and I want it. But any kind of, it's like molting, you know, like, you know, we're molting our skin and our personality and everything. And so at times it's whatever it is, who knows? Ancient fears from first landing on this planet, you know, millions of years ago. I don't even know, you know.
Could be. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
It could be that, man. It could be like an ancestral thing to where we're fighting death all the time. You know, if you think about it, it was funny when you hear things that are true, that ring true to your soul, they give you kind of the heebie-jeebies sometimes. And I was watching that that show, what is it? The Game of Thrones, and they're fighting off the goblins or whatever, and they're like, what are we doing this for? And he said, the only God is death. You know, the only evil or enemy we have is death, right? And he says, but we still have to fight him anyways. And he said, the enemy always wins, but we still have to fight him. And I got to thinking, like, what's that about? And I started really looking into this, and then somebody asked this question in the chat room, and it's one of those answers in the void, right? Because that's what the void is we're here to ask the right questions, not push our truths on everybody, you know. But it's like, did the universe just do whatever it could to create life, and then once it did, now it's trying to figure out how not to die because it loves life so much? You know, like, I wonder that sometimes. Or is it all just part of the cycle? Because it sure does look like it's some kind of system that's just doing, I mean, think about everything a solar system has to do for one of those planets to create a physical 3D life on it.
Yeah.
So it wants life to be here. I'm sure it just doesn't want 100 years. I feel like it wants more of it. That's what I feel. I don't know if it's true or not, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something we are learning, you know. A friend of mine in Seattle says the journey into separation, like, into the fallen state, actually creates more space-time. But this is not the real place, in a sense. It's the illusion, right? But I hear, so it's hard to explain, but it's, this is temporary here, right? Obviously, temporeal inside of time. And, but there's some kind of growth going on, some kind of expansion. And I'm not qualified to say it. That's God's business. That's Source's business. And I'm trying to get healthy and clean this out, whatever it is sitting in my heart, sitting in my lungs, and that I'm trying to heal,
Yeah.
And it's going, it seems to be a lot on the planet, the battle of, I'm being told there's a place outside of good and evil, beyond the dualities. And outside the game of fighting each other all the time, which is so obvious to see now, I think, right? Yeah. So obviously, like, everyone's fighting. Politics has just turned into a nightmare pit bull fight, Any means necessary, to win. And it's a reflection of some, like you said, battling the death. We're trying to battle and survive. But doing it with anger is not, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do it that way anymore. Not that I can't pull my sword out if I have to, but I want to be more Aikido, a more vanish in the air. You'll never find me. I'm not here. I'm gone. You can't find me.
Yeah, I got what you're saying.
Yeah. So I'm switching from warrior mode to observer holding space mode.
See, you're switching as you're going through this process. It's like you're switching archetypes.
Yeah, exactly.
You're no longer because I remember when you were the warrior. Mm-hmm. I remember when you were like talking about stuff on your YouTube channel, like wake the F up. I hear all these love and light workers out here, but nobody wants to face their shadow. And if you keep invoking light, all this crap's going to come up.
I still think that's true. I mean, that's the social justice warriors.
Yeah, but I could see just how fierce you were about it, because you were getting
serious. That's why I'm getting a little hammered now, because I was kind of pushing into that in the collective, maybe just a little bit. I'm not a big personality with it, which I'm glad of, to be honest.
Yeah.
But so now it's something about, I'm finding more compassion for where people are at. Even though I still carry out the justice, I had to report someone to the police recently,
Oh, yeah.
And, it's just normal, you got to do it. You're not namby-pamby about it. It's, this is just how it works. But, it's shifting for me. So I think we have to, there's phases maybe to it, and being asleep, if someone, you get mad, angry, realizing you've been lied to. And then after a while you realize, okay, that takes a while, however long, to realize, oh, everything's a lie. You mean Obama just completely created more wars and told us he was going to stop wars, or whatever, whoever, pick any of them. And they're just reflections of our collective consciousness. Or you get all triggered by Trump because he's such an uncouth, egomaniacal motor mouth or something.
Yeah.
And sure, of course.
Yeah, we got those in droves, though. They're everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. And so all this stuff is coming up, more and more around us, or people are checking out. They're just like, I can't deal with this. And so there's some kind of acceleration, maybe, in my opinion, you know, and that's forcing us to purge. And then later, maybe there will be, we can still have beauty on earth. You can still have paradise here on earth. No one can stop you from it individually. I don't think that's, you can have it while you can have paradise in the middle of hell, you know, where everyone else think it's hell. But so it feels like some kind of acceleration. And
yeah, Art Bell called it the quickening, because he felt it as he got older too, you know.
Absolutely, sure is. And then so souls are, I don't know. One thing I'm learning is not to make generalizing statements for other souls, but rather just for me, you know. So I'm in the middle of cleaning out my own basement, basically, and it's cool to learn. I had a experience, I don't know, 2-3 months ago during the night where I actually went to a place that was where time and space exist together. Like I'm out of my body. It feels like I'm 10 feet above my body, but I'm not really it's not an out of body experience. It's my consciousness is in a place where if I walk 3 feet to the left, I go back like 200 years in time. And I actually understood, wow, this is realer. This is more fundamental than our timeline, our 3D timeline, you know?
Yeah, it does. You felt it's like more vivid, huh?
Yeah, it was real. It was more fundamental. Yeah, more real than what's real here. And I remembered it. Like I can remember it to this day, right now. I can remember what that felt like, which was I was getting like a little glimpse of instruction in how space-time, how we created, you know? And I'm like, wow, that is a trip. That is awesome. I'm getting tutoring, you know?
Man, I want to go there. How do I get there?
I don't know. It just happened spontaneously. And I ask for a lot of guidance from God directly, you know, which is always safe. Because he's got no agenda. She's got no agenda. Goddess, whatever you believe, whatever you like it. And then I have certain masters that I know are real for me, that I love, you know, Jesus, Saint Germain. They go nameless. There's a Hopi shaman that helps me. There's a Sai Baba, who's controversial, I understand. Yogananda, you know. There's a bunch of them. Metatron, who I used to be really angry at, but he showed up, and I realized had a bigger understanding of that. And by the way, they're all there for all of us all the time. Anyone this is my opinion, that's moved on into the oneness, and they're both an individual and they're aware of being one with, maybe it's just the solar system, I don't know, or the galaxy, I don't know.
Yeah.
They are all us, actually. They're us, literally. It just sounds like, you know, fancy oneness talk when you hear someone says it, but there's glimpses of actually feeling it, you know. Right. And it's beautiful. But it's terrifying to go there because it's going to it's dissolving your ego boundaries. And you're like, no, that's me. I don't want to let go of me yet, you know. Right? No, I like me. I want to keep. You can have both, I think.
I could see myself doing that.
Yeah.
No, please, God, don't take me. I don't want to go.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's a way to do both. I experienced Jesus as Jesus. The fact that they condescend to deal with me is a miracle. You know what I mean? It's like, really? I swear to God, Joe, this is true. So I meet with my friend, the shaman, and we've known each other 30 years, right? And we help each other too. And he's laughing, and for some reason, the masters are us. They're our own higher self. That's just as true. If you see them, some people see them, some people hear them, some people just sense it, you know. And don't compare, you know. There's no reason to compare. Like we talked about this last time. You know, seeing the spirits I don't see them very often. I just see there's lights and I can sense them with my third eye. And I thought I could never do that. I thought I'm a scientific Swedish guy from New England, and I thought I was as materialistic as they come. But I remember one time there's a little council of whatever's helping me and my friend. And one of them, I could hear them even go, they're looking at me. They go, why are we helping this guy again?
Who's this dude, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And they joke. It's so funny. The opposite of Bernie Sanders, I'm joking. or Trump for that matter. But they're very loose. It's very loose. They're like, why are we helping this guy again? I vote no. This guy's a thumbs down.
That's hilarious, man.
Let him go. Why are we spending time on this? And it's like a vote, It's like from the Flash or the Green Lantern when he's out in space. And it's like the Watchers, the Council of Watchers, That's actually true. So they're really funny. They'll make fun of me, but they're absolutely gentle. Real masters know exactly, like we talked about before, how not to over push you, how not to over trigger you. I am aware of how gentle they are with me and helpful. And then when they roast me at times, but it's really funny, they're really funny with it.
Well, I want to ask you a little bit about that, because that's very interesting to me. I know we went over break again, dadgummit, but yeah, I've had some experience with that myself. I'm trying to figure out just who these people are, but we'll get into that. And like the hidden masters and stuff, maybe in the astral realm, spiritual realm, whatever you want to call it. Here with Tobias Lars. This is Lighting the Void. We're live on the Fringe FM. We're going to have Stevie take us into the break. We'll be right back.
This is Malorcas 45, fan of the Fringe FM, challenging everyone to open their mind's eye. Listen to Lighting the Void with Joe Roop to gain precision for your third eye vision.
Hey, Fringe listeners, this is Dave Cruz, host of Beyond the Strange Radio, asking you to join us live Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Fringe FM. Visit beyondthestrange.com for links to chat, social media, and schedules of the show. And remember, always stay strange. Hasta.
We all have that story to tell in our lives. The winds were howling. The ground shook. You could hear rushing water. And then history repeats itself. When there's no power, refrigeration fails. Stores with their shelves strip bare. ATMs can't operate. Deliveries stop. Then what? These events can last days or weeks. You need a plan. In statements made during recent interviews, FEMA Administrator Brock Long has repeatedly urged all Americans to understand three truths. FEMA is broke. The system is broken. If this is the new normal, Americans can't rely on federal cavalry when disaster strikes. Don't get caught out in the elements empty-handed. Prepare with us by going to preparewiththefringe.com and get your 2-week food supply. 92 servings, 8 food varieties with 25-year shelf life. Normally $137, now only $75. Or get a month's supply, normally $247, now only $147 shipped in one business day. Just go to preparewiththefringe.com or call 888-440-7931. That's 888-440-7931. Get this great offer and be prepared while it lasts.
Introducing Shadow Light Tarot from Waking Canvas. The Fringe FM's new contributing artist, Eric Tesey. This hand-illustrated black and white self-published deck serves as a reinvention of the tarot, never before witnessed. Each of the several suits of this 88-card deck lineup form an infinite panoramic scene. Even the included visual companion guidebook is entirely hand-illustrated, cover to cover, with beautiful visuals and esoteric symbols and artwork. The newly released deck comes in a custom magnetic box with its own travel pouch. The Shadow Light Tarot Premium Deck and its travel-sized mini deck Wonderlight Tarot are both available now from WakingCanvas.com. If you use the code word FRINGE, that's FRINGE at checkout, you'll receive an extra 10% off your entire order. To discover more, including a free reading and time lapses of all the illustrated artwork, make your way over to wakingcanvas.com today. That's wakingcanvas.com.
Every Saturday at midnight here on the Fringe FM, you can join me, Stephen Canby, the host of the Midnight Hour Show. On my show, we explore paranormal topics with a skeptical view. We search for evidence. We search for proof. We search for the truth. Because who better than me, my friends, a magician, a man trained in the art of deception and misdirection? Who better than me to investigate for you some of the greatest mysteries on planet Earth? And I hope you will join me every Saturday night here on the Fringe FM at midnight Eastern Standard Time for the Midnight Hour Show, 9 p.m. Pacific. I want you to join me here every Saturday night at midnight for an incredible journey. Consider yourself invited. Brand new episodes of the Midnight Hour Show, available exclusively every Saturday night here on the Fringe FM. Consider yourself invited.
Join us on Want to know what's on the Fringe FM? Check out our schedule at thefringe.fm.
Hey, Donald, you just tweeted that you finally heard our show, Live Talk with Alex Exum. What do you think?
That's enough. Put down the mic.
KTLK, The Fringe FM.
In your face, all over the place. We're online 24/7. 24/7. You're listening to the hottest internet station.
I'm Ryan Gable, and I want to remind you to keep your radio, phone, tablet, or computer tuned to the Fringe FM and visit the website thefringe.fm to listen to the entire lineup of shows. You can also catch my broadcast, The Secret Teachings, Monday through Friday, beginning at 12 a.m. midnight U.S. Pacific Time, right here on the Fringe FM.
So just so you know, before we pick back up on on the show here, there's a lot of void walkers out there. I got a message in my Facebook Messenger from our news girl, Jess Rogie, and she says, I feel like an official void walker now. Thank you. I was about to do a tour, but I wanted to share something that happened to me last night. Typically, I don't have weird experiences, but last night I thought, while I was working on the news, I looked at the clock and it was after 10. I said to myself, well, I can work on the tour since I just have to export the audio to the station for the news and I'm done. And she says, the next thing I know, it's 11:15 and I'm thinking about the tour and confused to why I'm still editing and thought I'm so tired and went straight to bed. So either I was tired or I lost time. But that's never happened to me before anywhere. I thought that was interesting and wanted to share that perhaps. And then that's part of the void walker initiation. I would say it is if you've had a missing time experience. But if you weren't tired, have you ever had a missing time experience, Tobias?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, I have. Absolutely.
What's that about?
In fact, the first time I was aware of it, because when you're being blanked, right? Or you're blanking yourself, like you're mind wiping yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't remember what happened, right? And you could say, but the first time I was aware of that I had missing time was in a canyon in Arizona called East Clear Creek. And there was a friend of mine and I, we had hiked down. It's kind of rugged country. It's not the easiest place to get to, so it's very little traffic, but like two rivers come together and form one river. So it's kind of a triangle right there, and really nice plain but high canyon walls. And all of a sudden, I am looking across the canyon, looking at my friend. He's like 5 feet in front of me. And up to my left, on the top of the other side of the canyon walls, a beam ship, like it looks like a Pleiadian beam ship, UFO, comes out over the edge. I see this in my mind's eye with my eyes closed. I just get a glimpse, like just a little bit. And the next thing I know, it's I don't know, 5, 10, 15 minutes later. And I look at my friend who's got more experience with it, and I go, was there just a UFO up there? And he nods his head. And I'm aware that, I don't know how long, 10, 15 minutes went by where I just had it cleared out of my mind. All I could remember, I was allowed to, or I let myself, or I could handle, who knows, seeing it in my mind's eye. I said, did it just come? He goes, yeah. And he's letting me describe it because he's kind of teaching me. So he's not giving me any, telling me what happened. He's asking me to remember. I go, it came out over the edge. And there was, I don't know, look about 30 feet around, and felt like there was people like us inside it, or very similar to humans. And he goes, yeah. Yep. So that's the first time I can remember having missing time.
But you remembered what happened. But, okay, so you saw that, and then you lost time after that.
Well, I barely got a glimpse. That was just enough for me to remember. I don't remember. That took 6 seconds. So the rest of the time, I had no idea. I couldn't recall what happened. Did they take us up on the ship? Did they land for a little bit? Did they, I don't know. I have no idea. I can't remember it at all. My friend wouldn't tell me.
Wow.
And I didn't have the thought to even ask him. It was just a sort of a hint at me. It was like enough of a remnant. It's like our conscious mind isn't ready, maybe. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, you probably can't. Yeah. That's happened to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Your mind probably can't handle what's about to happen anyway. It's especially, you didn't wake up with any holes in you or anything, right? That you remember?
No, they felt nice. They were friends.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I had experiences with the little gray guys years before that, but I told them I didn't want any part of them. So.
Yeah, done with all that, huh? Yeah, so I'm done with all that. Like Travis Walton scared us enough, I think, was what happened to him.
Get out of my house.
They actually came in your house, huh? Or
they were trying to.
Oh, wow. Well, see, is that because you're in Arizona, like Sedona? All that happened probably in Sedona, didn't it?
No, one of them happened up in East Clear Creek. That's about an hour east of Sedona, just by Payson North, south of Flagstaff. About an hour because it's back roads. Probably about 35 miles as the crow flies from Sedona. And the other one happened at my first marriage down in Phoenix, Arizona, where the gray guys were trying to come in.
Man.
But we have dominion, Jesus is powerful, really. And I wasn't raised in any of the churchism. So call on real God, real Jesus, whoever you believe in, master that you love. That's right. And they can all help you. Nothing is allowed to trespass on you against your will. Believe it or not.
No, I believe that. We had a show about that too, because people were questioning this whole thing about masters and Jesus and stuff. And I said, well, you can say it's not real all you want, but why? Mm-hmm. Maybe it's the Carl Jung thing. I don't know. But why, when people use it, whether they call out Jesus or Yeshua or whatever they say his name, why does it work? Works every time. Mm-hmm. Tell me if it's not real. Why is it working for everybody? I mean, even people that are in the throes of desperation that don't believe in it, it's worked for them. Now, is that because the psyche believes it, like the collective unconscious, and that's because it's all power? I don't know about all that. I think it's You know, I've been studying a lot of Carl Jung. We've been reading it on the air, the Red Book and stuff. And I don't think anybody knows. I just think they know that it works and it's real. And, you know, you were talking earlier about Jesus and Saint Germain. You met them, so to speak, like in the spiritual realms, right? Where what would this be called? The astral realm, maybe?
Yeah, I've been gotten in trouble because I do too much name dropping, they've told me.
Oh, yeah? Well, we can just call them masters then. How about that? Have you met them before?
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, they can materialize if they, you know, I know. I've only met the Hopi shaman once in a material form, like he actually showed up physically. Oh, there's another missing time thing. We were at Wapatki National Monument, this is bizarre. This is really cool. So Wapatki National Monument is north of Flagstaff, Arizona. WUP ATKI, Wupatki. And when me and a friend went there years ago, I don't remember there being a Forest Service there. I don't remember there being a little bookstore and the ticket takers and all that stuff. I don't remember. We didn't meet anybody and there was no buildings. It was just pure, pristine ruin, a Hopi ancient Anasazi ruin. And then the second time I went back and we had a magic experience there. And then the second time I went back, that would have been like 1990 something. 10 years later, I go back, and then I went regularly because I used to take people up to Hopi land. And now there's like a Forest Service thing. You got to pay $10 to get into the park, and they take your tickets. There's like, you know, they have a little, it's like a museum, you know, display by the the Park Service, the National Park Service. And I'm like, when did they build this? They go, we built this 1955. And I'm like, but I was here like in the 90s and none of that was here, right? So what happened, right? And I checked with my friend and he said, no, there was nothing there. We were there alone all day. There was no buildings. There was no other people at all. Now there's like handrails and stuff, right? and we sat in the kiva, which is these circular, it's not really a kiva in the sense that the Zuni and the Hopis have, where they are underground and you see the little ladder sticking out of the top of the roof. These don't have roofs on them. Maybe they did at one point, but these are not normal Hopi. These are the Anasazi. There's something ancient about them and connected actually to South American tribes, which is really hard to explain. Like, how do they travel? Since it's like 1,000 miles up from Honduras or whatever, you know, or even from South America, from modern Venezuela, Colombia, you know, the Aztec, or Mexico, Yucatan. Well, anyway, so we sit in the kiva. We just have a feeling to sit in it. There's like kind of a ledge, a bench all around it. There's no roof on it anymore. There's also a hole in the ground, a breathing hole, like that breathes in and out, depending on the time of day.
Right.
And we could feel a giant cave under the whole area. That was cool. But we had a Hopi shaman materialized with us in the kiva. Like we time traveled or something. You know, it's like, how do I explain this? It was bizarre.
You went through, you time traveled. Well,
I don't know. I don't know. All I know is what we experienced was an very old Indian man who claimed to be who was an obvious leader of when the people lived there. And he replayed for us how they used to dance in this kiva. You know, they would dance for creating the hunt, you know, creating food for the winter. And they would create it all at once. And by doing a dance for several days, and they would invite the spirits of the animals. And I blanked out some of that too. I remember going, no, that was just a dream. And Keith's like, my friend's telling me, no, I reached out and touched him. He was solid. He was sitting right next to you. he was joking about how thick-headed you were. Right? And but I remember the vision, and I remember, and I've had other magic happen there too later, you know. But the trippiest thing was the fact that there was no park service at all, which is not true because they've been there since 1955, right? So whatever dimension we entered, something was time shifted, and I blocked part of that out.
I hate when you do that, man. Like Robert, we did this course with Robert Bruce here. Like I did this with a listener, and he was teaching astral travel, but he was the only one that said, you know, the biggest problem that we have is not how do we do it; it's that we don't remember. He said if you can train your energetic body first, and then train your memory. So he was trying to train your memory and your energetic body at the same time. Right. And he said, if we can do that, then we'll evolve. We'll learn how to do this stuff more. Now, I've had one crazy out-of-body experience that I've told the story a million times. I know it's real. I've had several other ones, though, and it's like I just couldn't. I would either get between dream world or that world. I even had one time, man, where my head felt pressurized and my ears were popping and stuff because I just want to do it so bad. But I don't know, man. I want to get back to doing that, to be able to do that again. That's been so long.
Relax, my son. Relax.
That's the key, isn't it? Just chill out.
It seems to happen to me that way, you know. And I only had 2 out-of-body experiences way back in college, and then like my spirit said, that's enough of that. We're not doing that anymore. And like where I actually remember rising out of my body, you know, and like I'm, you know, I can look at my body. And so phenomena is not necessarily the right thing. I got a friend in Seattle who travels out of body a lot, but, you know, it's interesting. But again, you're here to, maybe it's not why you're here, you know, while we're here. But I wanted to tell another one. The same Kiva came to mind. So my good friends, Richard and Ann, who live in Flag, when we first met, I was taking them on a Hopi adventure with their scientific friend who worked with Stanford Research Institute.
Yeah.
And we were going up to stay overnight at Hopi Land. And I don't know why, but I had a little bit of access because I met the right people, you know, and was helped or guided with that. And so I would usually take people to Wapatki sort of as an entree, like to get calibrated, to kind of notice the San Francisco peaks where the Kachinas live as we leave town, stop in Wapatki, sit in the kiva, kind of honoring the ancestors, or, you know, just getting them tuned in. And my friend Richard and they just come back from Teotihuacan outside of Mexico City, the giant pyramid.
Yeah.
You know, the giant pyramid. And they've been given access to the mica rooms, the rooms under the pyramid, which are solid mica and on the roof and the walls, like that glass-looking stone, the reflective stone. And Richard was telling me about it on the way up into the kiva. And as we were entering the kiva, we were talking about Quetzalcoatl, you know, the feathered serpent and the colors and the turquoise and the red and the yellow and the black and just the amazing colors on the feathered serpent. And today it was like a park service. There was like probably 20 other people walking around the whole grounds, you know, and, you know, normal tourists. And, or, you know, people coming there. And there's a giant lizard. I've never seen him this big ever since. His body was probably 8 to 10 inches and his tail just as big, you know. And he had these intense turquoise, gold, orange, red, purple colors on him. And he wouldn't move. He was like looking at us. Usually a big lizard is kind of skittish of people. And I just felt like I needed to stop and talk to him. And he felt like a little connection to Quetzalcoatl. And so we did that. And then Richard walks into the middle of the kiva, and he does like the sign of the cross, or that's the 4 directions with his water bottle, just spontaneously in the center. And I go, okay. And then I just, let's sit, find a place that feels good to you and sit in the circle. And we're just going to sit here for a little bit and be quiet. And I might say something, I might not. And while that happened, all of a sudden, like probably about 15 feet in the air and 30 feet in front of me, a little bit off to the right, looking actually straight south in the direction of South America, this time portal opened up. Now, I saw it in my mind, and it was Quetzalcoatl. And it was like a portent. Richard had talked about him, so they kind of put our minds on him, and then a little lizard seemed to be like some connection device that he was using. And he was showing me directly how they used to time portal travel. And it's, that's why they find chocolate and stuff in Hopi Land, northern Arizona. I mean, how the heck would chocolate get up there? They're not going to travel that far, and the chocolate survive. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
But Cocopelli, I don't think, made the journey all the way down to Guatemala or something. Maybe, but they used to time portal travel. He was telling me. So this is a direct experience I had of Quetzalcoatl being excited about. This is how we used to travel between kivas, between tribes and between different aspects. And later I found out from Grandfather Martin that he showed me the underground maps and all this stuff, and that they still know. I'm always irreverent with it, so not always, but I pointed to Dulce with Grandfather Martin. I said, "Can we go there?" And I don't know if you know, but there's supposedly some bad ET genetic experiments under Dulce. And he looked at me very seriously and says, "No, it's not a good place." It's like, messing with him.
Man, you got some, you got I don't know, you got some killer stories. I know we got to take a break because we're at the top of the hour. And tonight, I knew this was going to happen. That tonight was going to go by way too quick with you because we're already in the last parts here. But I want to finish this story too when we come back with Tobias Lars. I promise you, we're going to teach you something too before this is over. I think we might just learn how do we get to these hidden masters. I want to figure that out. I really do. I'll be right back.
Have you ever seen an ad or banner which brought you a feeling that someone is reading your mind or even listening to your conversations? Your online data is being used against you. Surfshark is a VPN service that makes online privacy protection easy and attainable. You can use it on as many devices as you'd like simultaneously. Surfshark encrypts all internet traffic sent to and from your devices and ensures that your IP address remains hidden. The VPN service that we use at UFO Seekers, plus 1 month free for $1.99 a month. Visit surfshark.deals/seekers.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Hi, this is Aaron Hunter, host of Real Paranormal Activity, the podcast where we tell real paranormal experiences of people from around the world. And we also conduct interviews with authors, investigators, psychics, and mediums. Real people, real stories, real fear. Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on the Fringe FM. See you then.
Right, my old Chiners. I know it's an ad break, but before you lot shoot off and make yourself a cup of Rosie Lee or whatever else it is you're going to sling down your Gregory Peck, you need to listen to me babble. If, like me, you found your way to Light in the Void via a downloadable podcast, you might want to take a butcher's at the Fringe FM Wind and Kite. You won't Adam and Eve how many other shows there are or what they rabbit on about. Ancient history, conspiracy, the consciousness, the esoteric, the occult, metaphysics, parapolitical, ufology, technology and spirituality, to name but a few. They got featured hosts like Ryan Gable, Jeremy Scott, Alex Exum, Tim Doyle, Cortana and Gigi, Susanna Ross, the Reverend John Polk, Michael Deacon and J.D. Lewis. You might find yourself listening to the thoughts and theories of the author of The Fish you just finished reading. Or you could pick up the dog and bone, call in and tell everyone your own beliefs or experiences. So do me a favour, before you put on the Ansel or crack open a bottle of vino or roll a joint, go to the Fringe FM and see what you're missing.
This is the Rogie Report News on the Fringe FM. I'm Jess Rogie. Authorities are investigating the mysterious death and mutilation of a cow on a remote ranch in Oregon. The cow was found dead and mutilated at a property owned by ranchers Clancy and Stephen Roth. The rancher said there's no evidence of who did it or how they killed her. And this is not the first time the Roths have experienced cattle mutilation. 20 years ago, they found multiple cattle mutilated on their ranch. Cattle mutilations occurred widely in the West and Midwest in the 1970s, and last year there were several cases of cattle mutilations reported in Oregon. A 9,900-year-old human skeleton was found in a Mexican cenote. It's being referred to as one of the first persons to set foot in the Americas. The female skeleton was found submerged in the Chan Hole Cave. Her remains prove the region was inhabited by at least two different groups of the early Mesoamerican settlers, or the two groups emerged from a single group and developed distinctive physical characteristics over time. A recent report made to MUFON describes a cigar-shaped UFO, estimated to be 4 to 5 times the size of a commercial airliner. The craft was spotted over Kansas City, Missouri. Margie Kay, Assistant State Director for Missouri MUFON, alerted Kansas City Section Director Gene Walker, and both women watched the object for 20 to 30 seconds. A third witness corroborated their observations. Kay described the object as larger than a 747. A UFO was filmed by a YouTube user named Justified on February 1st. The video shows footage of a large round object hovering over a neighborhood in Tulare County, California. The UFO lingered in place for about 30 minutes before it disappeared following sunset. In a recent survey by Select Car Leasing shows that 1/3 of Londoners said they've encountered a ghost while driving a car. 1 in 7 people, about 13%, agree with this statement. I believe I've seen a ghost when driving. The poll found that 36% of people living in the Greater London area believe they've seen a road ghost at some point in their lives, compared to 15% of people in Scotland and 14% in northwest England. 15% of men have witnessed ghosts while driving on the highway, while only 11% of women have seen ghosts while driving. This is the Rogie Report News on the Fringe FM. I'm Jess Rogie.
He controls all the newspapers and the television.
What's going on, ladies? It's me, the Night Stalker from the Night Stalker News. Are you dreading a lonely night on Valentine's Day? Well, have no fear. I'll be on standby for you live on the Fringe FM Friday night, 9 p.m. Pacific. You can take part in a once-in-a-lifetime chance to bid in a date with me. It's 2020, and apparently e-dates are all the rage right now. Enjoy a virtual, romantic evening with a Night Stalker at your expense. But look at it this way. You get a night with a handsome man on Valentine's Day, and I get a new news studio. If that's not love, I don't know what is. Come bid and be my Valentine. Friday night, February 14th on Light in the Void. Live, only on the Fringe FM.
To call Joe, pick up the phone, dial 1-800-588-0335, toll free from the United States or Canada.
Well, tomorrow night is definitely the Night Stalker bid. Again, new announcement. All funds raised will go to the National MS Society. It's going to be a fun Valentine's night right here at 9 p.m. tomorrow night on lightingthevoid.com. Call in. Make sure you get in early if you want to bid, too. Right here live on the Fringe FM. Tons of apps. You can listen to the Fringe FM on the Fringe FM app mainly, but then there's a whole bunch that you can listen on. Our guest tonight is Tobias Lars. The website's tobiaslars.com, where there is a ton of stuff on there you can learn, courses, the Inner Body Awakening. There's a ton of stuff on there. And if you like, I know you do, because I'm getting some of your messages. You like Tobias's vibe, his voice, and all that stuff. He's very spiritual too, but as far as like guided meditations and stuff, he's my favorite. And, I was asking you, Tobias, before the break about these hidden masters, and I'm prying, and you're like, well, I don't want to name drop and stuff. So this, this kind of stuff is sacred to us, right? Like Manly P. Hall talks about that, about initiation in his book, What the Ancient Wisdom Expects from Its Disciples. And he said, if you've been through real initiation, you can forget all these buildings and temples and Masonic temples, whatever. The real mystery school lies inside you, and only you know if you've been initiated. There's no way you're going to be able to explain it to anybody. So I wonder if it's kind of like that. Is it kind of like that?
Yeah, it's like purgatory, like I've been saying.
Man, where's the fun stuff at? None of this stuff is any fun, right?
Hey, I gave you some fun stuff. I was traveling in space-time about 3 months ago.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay.
And I didn't have to die to do it. It's pretty cool. Yeah, and lots of miracles happen, but it's all spiritual physics, I think. It's whoever designed this whole system knows what they're doing, and those that have mastered it are free to move about the universe, and materialize and dematerialize and show up. And I love the Saint Germain stories of him having lived for 250 years in the courts of Europe and all over, and helping show up at Constitution Hall in Philadelphia as the master when they were all, scared to sign the Declaration of Independence. And he gave them all a pep talk and said, you need to sign this thing. I love that stuff. So there's a bunch of real masters walking around.
Yeah,
on
I
the
think
planet.
that sometimes too. Like, a real master is probably not gonna tell you who they are. I don't think. But
I don't. My experience is they show up as any disguise they want. Like usually very unexpected. They know how to hide. They know how to make sure you don't really know who they are.
Yeah. Do you think we got some right here in the States though? Like I'm talking about. You mentioned something earlier that got my attention. You said there's people that come to this earth that, they're like, they have the consciousness, they have the know and how and spiritualness of a Greek god. And I'm thinking, man, that's pretty impressive, right? Like,
yeah.
But you'd never know it though, would you? You just never know. They wouldn't tell you that, I don't think.
I'm not qualified. And my little limited scope of it is some of them, they're not very public, usually. They are more operating. Well, Jesus is very public. Krishna is very public. Buddha is very public. Those are the ones you know about. But the ones that choose to be cloaked, how can you know about them?
Right.
They're like working at the fruit stand or something. Who knows? They're doing whatever they want, Yeah. But that gives me hope that we can, I call it incognito enlightenment. No one needs to know if you wake up. I'm not there yet. I'm still purging stuff. But I'm like, I'm trying, I'm playing with it.
Weren't you purging the last time you was on here? I think you was.
Yeah. Well, this is a long one. And not that that's all it is. I'm having, like I said, days of when I'm just, my body's like air. It's been I'm floating. I feel like I'm just dissolved but back and forth, which kind of makes sense, as you're learning this. I mean, if Jesus had trouble, wow, hello, right? Sweat and blood. I mean, I'm getting away easy. We're getting away easy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's something about, if you're going to upgrade your body to light, it makes sense that anything that's not compatible with that has to go. It has to be upgraded. It has to be, you got to upgrade your computer. You got to tune up your car. So if we're trying to do that with our body, what does that look like? What's that going to feel like? And but the fire of cleansing is absolutely beautiful, but it can also be terrifying, maybe. We're hanging on to stuff. So I think that I know there's real masters, and they work with many, 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 many of us all across the whole planet. They're not bound by needing sleep and stuff like that. So it's hard even for us to imagine,
Yeah, I think I've heard a couple of stories about him, and the most famous one I've heard is the Daskalos story, which no one would ever written about the guy. He wasn't planning on anybody writing about him, but a guy did write about him.
I don't even know. I don't think I've heard of that.
Dr. Stylianos Ateshlis, he's from the island of Cyprus. He was like he ran like a mystery school that was more of a Christian mystery school type deal in Cyprus, but the teachings were totally different than what we've been taught. And he was known for healing people. Like he wrote a couple of books that got released after this guy, like Markides wrote a book about him, and he was talking about your etheric double and all these things and how to work with the etheric body, things like that, because he was a healer. He was known, people would come to him and, he'd put his hands on them and kind of do his thing. And then he would like straighten out their backs and just do all kinds of stuff. But no one, he was never on TV. He'd never done anything like that. Then he'd go paint or whatever. And he's got some fascinating teachings out. And even the tree of life that he shows, the glyph that he shows is, he says, comes from Egypt. He says it's much older than we think. And he tells the story of Jesus and calls him Yeshua and tells it. It's pretty much the same story, but that's some interesting stuff. But every time I've tested it, what he's talked about and teached in those books, it's real. And he called astral travel exematosis.
What's his name?
Dr. Stylianos Ateshlis, or better known as Daskalos.
How do you spell it?
Grab this book, right? I read this book in one night. I was so interested in it. It's the guy that wrote the book, the first one I read was Kyriakos Markides, but Dr. Stylianos Ateshlis. Daskalos is easy. It's just Daskalos. Yeah, it says, when he returns to Cyprus as an adult, Markides seeks out this master healer and spiritual teacher to discover the old man for himself. Armed with the skepticism he learns, because this guy was a skeptic when he went over there. He learned as a sociologist, combined with his passion to explore the inner world and beliefs of this strange magus. Markides soon learns to appreciate the power and wisdom of this peaceful and humorous soul.
Cool.
Yeah. Magus of Strovolos is the name of the book.
The Magus of Cyprus, maybe, too, they might call him, right?
Yeah. The Magus of Strovolos of Cyprus is, but the name of the book is the Magus of Strovolos. And this guy, he starts out going over there on a plane, talking about how much, he's like a skeptic journalist kind of guy, He don't believe in none of this stuff. So he goes over to Cyprus and meets him and learns about the elementals, these thought forms that we create in the elemental realms, elementals that have been around forever. He learns about karma, but doesn't really believe in it till he watches him heal somebody.
Oh.
And, it's a pretty interesting book. It's the only book I ever sat down and read the whole thing in one night, because it was it's only like 200 pages, but I've never read a whole book in one night in my entire life.
Do you have any history from that part of the world?
I don't know, but I'm extremely drawn to it. And then I've had his student from America that his name's Daniel Joseph, and that's kind of funny because my name's Joseph Daniel. You know, I've had him like on here 5 or 6 times, and I had to reschedule this last time. But this is one of those teachings where I know it's true, and I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why. And I mean, I've studied all this stuff, occultism, like mysticism, but I know it's true. I'm not saying it is the truth. I'm just saying the whole thing of the Christ story and what's really going on with that. And this to me is big time true.
So that's a great example of somebody, you know, there's various levels maybe of awake masters right here among us, you know?
Yeah. And he passed away too. And he said, when people pass away, he taught Daniel, he said, when people pass away, they have 2 choices. They can stay behind and help the planet, which a lot of people do, or you can move on to bigger and better things. And he said that he knew his job was to stay here until every single person went back to where they came from, till we all came back home.
Wow.
And now they have this big organization called the Researchers of Truth, which is it's pretty cool. You know, that's cool. They talk about the angels, some of the stuff you talk about. Like, you know what the thing is, though, with Daniel when he was on, he has always asked about ETs and extraterrestrials. And I don't know why, what came over me, but I asked him that, like I'm asking you. And I said, have you ever seen an ET or alien? We'll asked him one time, Daniel, and he got kind of quiet, and he was like, yeah. But you can tell he didn't want to talk about that. Kind of like he didn't want me to bring it up because it didn't really do any good, you know?
Yeah. That's what I'm learning. I'm getting taught that there's a way to talk about this or share this stuff that's just an appropriate way, you know, that helps and is helpful for that time and that moment, you know, and that's what love wants. Love wants that. Too much truth too soon can be hurtful. It's like, you know, you don't show 3-year-olds what mom and dad doing, you know, in the bedroom. You know, you don't. It's too early.
It scars them big time.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so luckily, what God does in the heavens would, you know, freaks us out too. But he or she, I just love how sweet it is. Love does it kindly, and that's what I'm interested in now, more than truth telling. But I'm not putting it. I'm not saying it's wrong. Truth telling is awesome. Again, David Icke, God bless him, he's just such a good example that everybody knows about. That, you know, someone needs to stir the pot, you know, and but that's not enough. Researching is not the same as experiencing.
No, it's not.
No. So at this point, there's many, many things going on. And there's much help, and it's going on all around us. And I've asked for a promotion, or in my case, I got cease and desist orders from the universe. Right? Which I understand, because cults form really easily with truth, right? I mean, what, Scientology or something?
Yeah,
I mean, you know, they have a lot of truth in them. There's some truth in what they say, but then it gets wackadoodle, you know? And the Mormons have a piece of the truth, you know, and then it gets wackadoodle. And so it's like maybe those places were telling truth a little too early. I love Osho, who obviously was a bit of a provocateur, you know. Osho stirred stuff up, but beautiful. But he has, when he would say some things and to trigger the whole thing. This is right time for triggering everything. Of course. For the sleepwalking, you need to poke them with a stick sometimes, right? Hello, wake up. But I love what he says. He says, don't use the truth as a weapon. You know, you may see something that someone's doing, or what's their foibles or their patterns or their subconscious crapola. But if you tell it to them too soon, they're just going to get overwhelmed and freaked out and punch you in the face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Literally, I had a son-in-law a few years ago. It was like, he just was ready to
I want to hear it, right?
I was ready to throw down. You know, come on, you bleep, you know, so and so, because I just pointed out something that was going on, you know, and thinking, but I'm sure he wants to improve that, or let's just be honest, it's not that big a deal. But there's a lot of fragile egos. You know, we're fragile when we're not ready to look at something. It's very terrifying to have it shown in our face. You know, it's like you take a little puppy and scold them. You know, everybody knows that's the puppy's like, why are you scolding me? You know, and so too much truth can really scar people. So there's a time release truth. You know, like if you went through puberty in a week, you're going to hurt yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that would be a rough situation. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, that would be a rough situation.
I am Frankenstein's monster. What's happening to me, right?
It'd be like junior high times 10,000, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Be able to handle it.
So when we're trying to well-meaning tell our poor grandparents or whoever, you know, or partners that we love, we go, look, man, there's a satanic pedophile network that meet in the Bohemian Grove and they sacrifice children and eat the adrenochrome and drink their blood, you know, and people are going to go, you're a lunatic. You know? Oh, no, there's more to the story.
Yeah,
they're reptilians. What?
No, so you had me at adrenochrome, man, you know?
I got you. I know. So it's like, and you're telling that to your grandparents who, you know, your grandfather who, you know, made it through World War II, or your great grandfather. Anyway, you know, that's too much. It's too much. You don't tell 12-year-olds that stuff, you know. You tell them a little bit about, well, you know, the reason the politicians, they're saying what you want to hear, and so you'll vote for them. But then there's a lot of people that get there and they get seduced by power, and they build beach houses on the beach, and somehow they are almost billionaires after being just a lawyer before that, and now they're billionaires after being president for 8 years. How does that work? Where did all that money come from? We don't know. How about, you know, young boy from Arkansas, your neck of the woods there? Now they're worth a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
But how does that, where was that happen? Well, I didn't think government paid. Where does that come from exactly? Well, because, you know, and so we can always teach at the right level, you know.
Just got to learn how to talk to people.
Yeah, share with them. You know, everybody knows. Everybody knows, right?
Yeah.
We all know. Like, you know, you take polls. Do you think they're being honest with you? No. And it's not that we should crucify them. It's like Benjamin Franklin says, the people usually get the government they deserve, right? Now, whether it's a conscious, usually it's not conscious, we get that which we're unconscious of, right? We're mad as hell and we're not going to take it anymore. And you get Bernie, right? Or you get, I want to be rich and be able to do whatever and say anything I want and get away with it. And you get Trump.
You get Elon Musk, or you can create flamethrowers too and sell them. Get away with it.
Yes, exactly. And then you get, you know, a woman will run the planet so much better, but we don't really want to heal our shit. So you get Hillary here.
That's not really a woman. Come on, y'all.
I didn't say anything. That was Joe.
Right. I'm from Arkansas. I'm allowed to talk about the Clintons. I know them personally.
There you go.
Yeah, that ain't a woman. I hate to tell you. I mean, if I want a woman to run the country, I want a woman. Like, you know,
I totally agree with you.
That has some kind of feminine energy in her. Somewhere.
We want the goddess.
Mm-hmm.
We want the real goddess. We don't want her to, like an Elizabeth Taylor or something. I don't know,
Yeah,
That's a
right.
woman.
Sade. There you go.
And you can't mess with her. You know what I'm saying? Like all these, I'm sorry, now it's going to be dangerous ground, but like, do you think Elizabeth Taylor could have gotten Harvey Weinstein to get the bleep out of her hotel room?
Yeah, absolutely.
No problem.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
She'd be like, Harvey Weinstein, get out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just powerful.
Yeah, they got power. The real goddess. That's what we need. We need not to be mean. You can still be, so we're all learning and all that. But yeah, anyway, I don't know. So it's a
I think
reflection.
you got to kind of be weird in the head to want to run for president to begin with, right? Like, why do you think you can fix everything? Really?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. You have to have some sort of major psychological disorder.
Yeah, like you want to be the leader of the most powerful country on the planet. Why? You're going to fix everything, right? I get it.
Right. I have my evil angel over here telling me what to say, but I'm not going to say that because this goes out to regular radio stations, sir.
I ain't worried about them. I'm not worried about. I mean, we can all have our opinions. It's okay. It's America, right? We should be able to say what we want.
Yeah. So this time, compassion. What if we have compassion, understanding for, it's our own hatred. We're getting our own anger at difficulty, at pain, at suffering, at injustice, at being lied to. Of course, we're angry. I was angry for years. Now I'm a little bit more, I'm not surprised. I'm watching Joy go through it because she's finally hitting like, oh my God, I can't believe this actually goes on. People are like this. Oh my God. And I'm sorry, honey. I know, but it's, yeah. Why are you surprised? Yeah. Why are you surprised? All of it. What? Catholic priests raping little boys? Really? You're surprised? I remember when I was 14 years old, first we moved to America from Sweden, and I never had any church, like I said before. And my friend, who was an Episcopalian, said, "Why don't you come to church with us?" And, because his father had left or whatever. The priests were nice to him. I remember telling my friend Ray, I go, they're all like pedophiles, right?
Yeah, right. As you're about to go, yeah. What?
No, I didn't know it. But after I went once, I go, they're, after little boys.
Yeah, you probably had a beautiful church experience too, I bet. And then they told you that.
I told them that. I told him
did?
that.
Okay.
I said, hello, look at these guys. Feel them. They're, you just be careful. And he looked at me with a blank face because he'd been raised in it, so he couldn't see it, And, but so all of that's coming down, isn't it? Rapidly. Look around us. All of it's coming down. What's next? I mean, Epstein, are you kidding? I mean, that was like starting to rip the Band-Aid off. Like, hello.
Yeah, no, they seized like 11 people the other day. Just stopped traffic and got out and got them right in the middle of the road.
Huh?
Yeah, they're on top of it.
If we want it, if enough of the people collective, like Benjamin Franklin says, people get the government they deserve. So we get the rulers, or we get the truth we deserve, whatever we're ready for collectively. It's sort of like just spiritual physics, Are we ready to see horrible videos of people that we idolize doing things that we can't imagine? No,
I don't think so.
We're not ready to have it on TV and CNN and stuff. We couldn't handle it. Jack Nicholson's over there in the corner going, you can't handle the truth.
That's true.
What I mean? But that's why we all love that line, because we're all lying to ourselves,
Yeah.
Or we're in denial about what's really going on, which I understand. So all this stuff's coming to the surface right now. And there's lots of help, but it's not that much fun, cleaning out the garbage.
No, it's not. But you got to do it. We got to do it individually, and we got to do it as a society. All right, so this is like the last part of the show here. I hate to say it's going by quick. Be right back, Tobias Lars. TobiasLars.com, that's the website for reference tonight. Stay with us.
Hey, this is No Way Jose, a Northern California Piscean stuck in the Arizona desert. I'm a void walker, and I got the shoes to prove it. So what do I do when my soul yearns to delve deep into the realm of the unknown? I aim my satellite straight into the night sky and catch a smooth ride on the KTLK-DB radio waves. I tune into Lighting the Void with Joe Root on the Fringe FM.
Joe, Lighting the Void is the best show on the planet. This is Barney, your friend from Facebook. Thank you and all the crew for all you do. Namaste, my friend.
This is Macon from the foothills of North Carolina, and I am a void walker.
G'day, void walkers. This is Lily from down under Australia. The world may be small, the enigma is greater. So let your curiosity take you for a journey with Joe Root.
Hey, this is V, coming in from Central Maryland, and I am a void walker.
This is Kevin Doherty, a beginner void walker. I'm from Vancouver, BC. I know a little about a lot, and as Leonard Skinner said, I'll guess the rest. I learned a lot from Mr. Root in the show, and heard it from the beginning. I knew right then he was going to be a new art pal. Thanks for all your shows, and keep it up.
Hey, this is Derek from Mass, a.k.a. the Night Stalker, and I'm a void walker.
This is Mark from Chicago, and I walk the void to ascertain what is consciousness.
My name is Jared Johnson, and I'm from Humboldt County, California. I do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. I do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family of explorers of consciousness. I'm a void walker. Thanks, Joe Root.
Do you want to know the truth? Are UFOs real? Are aliens visiting Earth? Are governments around the world hiding the biggest secret in history? We're UFO Seekers, official partner of the Fringe FM, and we're on a hunt for the truth. Join us as we investigate locations like Area 51 by subscribing on YouTube at youtube.com/UFO Seekers.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com. Or to speak with a trained consultant. Give Angioprim a call at 954-882-7221. That's 954-882-7221.
You can tug all day long on a carpet that's been glued to the floor. Then you hurt. There are many strong glues out there. Let's see. There's liquid nails and Gorilla Glue. You ever try to remove 3M 5200? That adhesive is strong. Then there's bathroom caulk, silicone rubber, adhesive tape, super glue, flex tape, and stickers. Graffiti. Scientists have come up with glues that stay stuck and can't be removed. Until now. Until Handyman Formula by DeBond. That's right. 95% of adhesives become unstuck when you spray Handyman Formula directly on them. Just spray, wait a few minutes, and remove. It's amazing. Most adhesives become unstuck when you use Handyman Formula. Visit DeBondCorporation.com or MCMaster.com. Call 561-575-4200. This stuff really works. Handyman Formula by DeBond, a great Christmas gift.
My name is Jake. I'm from Billings, Montana, and I am a void walker.
Hey, Joe Root. Thanks for lighting the void. This is Janine in the bluegrass of Kentucky, and I am a void walker.
What's up, guys? This is Damien from San Marcos, Texas, and I'm a void walker. I listen to the show
to keep myself aligned with the world.
Hi, this is Laura, aka Laura Lavender. I'm from Las Vegas, and I listen to Lighting the Void because it helps me understand some of the strangest experiences I've had. So thanks for all that you do and for always being there for us, Joe.
I thought I'd stop by and see what my old buddy Barney's up to.
Siswell, ladies and gentlemen. He's a void walker, and he's it's good to see him in his power, man. Playing the harmonica and playing the song. I think we're going to have some more stuff coming from Barney, by the way. I'd like to hear more of it. But he put his videos out on Facebook and just playing music for everybody, so y'all go check it out. I think it's really good stuff. Tobias Lars is our guest tonight, and man, it's always a pleasant conversation with you, and I really appreciate you coming on and staying up late with us, because I know you're an old man. You got to get your beauty sleep, so I appreciate you coming on, man. I'm just playing. Yeah, but well, seriously, no, I really do appreciate it.
Trying to go to bed earlier nowadays, so 1 o'clock for me is a little bit late. I used to be a night owl, but yeah, it's all right. I love it.
I love nighttime, late night radio. I've stayed up too long because I got the insomnia. I can't sleep. My mind's just going 90 to nothing all the time. And usually when I sleep, I just fall out. And then I wake up and go, what happened? That's usually what happens with me. I guess that's probably why I don't have any more out-of-body experiences, maybe.
Yeah, it's not about, if I get a good night's sleep, I'm a happy camper. So, I like that. It's, it's not all about the whiz-bang, all that stuff. It's about, like, those things come when we're ready, And like I said, I've had some stuff go on lately that's amazing.
Well, I mean, it's good to know that even the people that guide me, that's what I've learned more than anything about this is I say it time and time and again because it's what the show's all about. We're all on our own journey here, and I've talked to gurus, teachers, coaches, authors, scientists, and NASA physicists on this program, but you know what? They're all asking the same questions. They're all trying to figure this out, and they're all doing it in different ways. So it kind of levels the playing field in a way, but also you have to be willing to learn from the people that have already been there, right? So that's why I like learning from you. You're more real to me than most of the spiritual teachers that I talk to. Just being honest, I ain't trying to offend the other ones, but it's more like you're more real about it. You don't cut corners. You don't make sure your presentation's good or make an outline before you say something or reading off the teleprompter, so to speak. Like this is what's going on.
What's that about? Why do we, remember the old way we'd rehearse our speeches and polish them and you write it out and that's not how nature does it. There's something we know when it's real, when it's natural. What it's like when it's happening, when Bob Dylan first starts or whoever, when it's first happening, when the Beatles are first singing versus Paul McCartney now, it's different. You know what I mean? It's not the same power. It's not the same thing. And there's something about the spontaneous uprising in the moment that's authentic. And anytime we try to control that, we're getting a facsimile. We're getting artificial intelligence. We're getting a copy. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that. I like, you play your songs. You can copy other songs. I don't like to play other people's songs. Not that I'm a snob about it, but there's just very few that I like, for me to play, that I can put my authentic self into, because they're not my songs, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And others are good at it. They're like, no, I love playing other people's songs. But what happened to authenticity? The word author begins with AU, which means gold, right? And original, and thus saith the Amen, the Bible says. Or the it starts way back in your throat, the A-U, A-U-M, that it begins deeply and closest to your heart, where you can infuse the sound with your heart. I love it. And so being our authentic self, Shakespeare, to thine own self be true, And don't we love that when spontaneous authenticity happens?
Oh, yeah, man. That's my favorite, actually. My favorite thing is to watch somebody come alive into themselves and as an individual.
And, maybe that's why Trump resonated. At least there was a little bit of, he's just being himself,
People get tired of being lied to. You can't get mad about what happens. It's cause and effect.
Yeah. And when he does jokes like he's confronted with, I think it was somebody on that, when they were doing the debates in 2016, said, "You've called women, gold digging whores, and or ugly." And he goes, "No, I haven't." "Yeah, you have." He goes, "No, that was Rosie O'Donnell."
Yeah, he throws it right back in their face.
And he gets away with it because he's just being real, Yes, it's crude New Yorker. So what? Right?
He reminds me of that friend that you take to the bar and you go, "I don't know what's going to happen when he starts talking, but he means it."
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, and maybe we were so sick of polished presentations that, we're just like, oh God, at least he's saying something real, or, maybe he'll do something. Maybe. So we like authentic. We like grunge. Hello. And then it gets weird. It gets co-opted. You know what I mean? Here come the boys from Aberdeen and Seattle and grunge, and they're all dirty and wearing old flannel shirts, but they're authentic, poor working men. They're just being real. Or rap, for that matter, right? It's being real. So what happened to, what are we trying to polish up? What are we trying to fake? Well, why? What are you trying to fake? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's good. It's like it's the opposite of what you're here to. We already came from the collective, and we came here to individualize in some form or fashion. So why put yourself back in the collective by worrying about what everybody thinks and making sure you impress them?
Isn't it getting grotesque? I think it's grotesque. It's like watching a lot of TV presenters. I'm just like, they're psychotic, these people. They're like, horrible storms coming to the Northeast. Many people will suffer. It's awesome. I'm on TV. It's like, what? Right? It's like the presenters there's something so disconnected from reality. They're faking it.
And you look outside and all you hear is crickets, right?
But also there's no human connection. I remember years ago, something happened in Washington, D.C., and there was just a guy, that he was crying because maybe someone he loved got hurt or shot or something. He had like 12 reporters around him, all sticking mics in his face. And like, where's the humanity? Was it just a news story? Reporting here from the Green. Back to you, Tom. I hate you. I never go to lunch with you, but I'm just pretending on camera.
I'm pretending we're a big, happy family on the news, yeah.
Yeah, and it's all demographically selected to look diverse. It's such a lie. But so what happened to authenticity? What if we started being authentic? Oh no, that's dangerous. So we're trained our whole lives to, like for instance, this is my opinion, that most guys don't like, 4 layers of makeup on girls.
Right.
We like, okay, a little bit of eye, whatever, it's different. There's a few sicko guys, my opinion. I'm editorializing.
Manson puts on a lot of makeup.
Yeah, right. Some guys,
but for a reason,
right? To show the grotesqueness of it. I mean, artist's job is to show us, whether they're conscious of it or not, to reflect back to us the beauty of humans and the ugly. They're the whole spectrum, But I'm interested in something authentic,
You know where that comes from, though, right? That comes from a society of where there, magazines and movies and models that, don't starve themselves. So these women have to live up. They feel like they got to live up to a certain expectation. There's a lot of pressure there,
And what is it in the woman that feels insecure about herself? That whole thing about, I'm not doing this for my husband. I'm doing this to show off to my girlfriends.
Yeah, I kind of believe that sometimes, though.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. It's like the ring, forget the guy. I just want to show off the ring. I mean, in a grotesque way, or the house or whatever. And men the same way. Here's my new, the babe with the big fake boobs.
The car and the big house. Yeah.
Yeah, the same thing. So it's like, what is it that is insecure in us that makes us think that we have to make up, put on a fake front?
I don't know, man. I'm driving a Honda Accord that's got moss on it, doing a radio show out of a shack. I feel good.
Very good. Exactly.
I feel good, man.
Authentic is going to be that's what's finally happening. In fact, I've said Google should invite me to come and give a talk about the ultimate marketing technique. The ultimate weird trick. Right?
Well, it's gotten so messed up. I was talking about this the other day that they've got coaches out there and trying to coach both men and women how to get back to their original selves because things have gotten so messed up. And when I'm talking about that, I mean, they're like dating coaches, right? And then you listen to them and you're like, this guy don't know what he's talking about. But sure enough, they get into like divine masculine, divine feminine. They say, this is masculine nature. Okay. This is feminine nature. It doesn't matter what kind of relationship you're on. You have to have the poles for the attraction to happen. And the reason why you're not attracting these people is because you keep doing this. All right. And you don't know that you're doing it. And it's like, man, they're right. They're taking it back down to like simple nature, so to speak.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we've come full circle back to nature again.
That's why all that, pickup artist stuff and all that stuff works. Now, you might say it's doing the darker side of it or in denial of some of it. But all that stuff works because you can't fool Mother Nature.
Right. Yeah. You can't pretend to be something you're not. It's like the feminine energy is like bees. They can tell that, right? They can tell if you're pretending. They just can't. Don't know how. Yeah. They can't explain it, but the energy's there. They know. Just like we can pretend, if you're being something that you're not, if that's not you, take that off. You know what I mean? Let me see your natural beauty. You don't need to look like those girls in the magazines. Not for me anyways. Right, but I do understand why they do it.
Sure. But so what is it that I think it's very hopeful that we're wanting something more authentic now.
Right.
Instead of believing, that maybe that's our dissatisfaction politically, and
people taught not to like ourselves, man. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. So we can come all the way back to Mother Nature. She's been there waiting for us the whole time.
Yeah.
She's been there waiting for us. There's a story that Pan, the god of nature, or the head of the nature kingdoms, there's many of them, like the fairy kingdoms, like in the British Isles, one of the last outposts. They're all over the planet. The nature spirits, you can call them. All that stuff's real. You can see them. You can feel them. And the story at Findhorn, I think, in northern Scotland, where Pan showed up. It's a big thing now. And very famous, where basically Pan said, "We never left. You are the guys, you are the ones that left us. We left that which is natural and authentic and real, And so we're maybe coming to an end, or we're being forced to find something more authentic in ourselves."
Yeah, that's exactly, I'm telling you, that's exactly it, I think. Like, that's what this thing is like, when you look at the pictures of alchemy, like those old Renaissance pictures of alchemy, and they show, the people in the boiling pots and stuff like that. Because all this crap is just bringing out you.
Yes. I'm being boiled.
Pressure, just, and then it forces your authentic self out like a boiling pot.
Yeah. Kind of like that saying from the South where, when you're up to your ass in alligators,
Right, yeah.
You forget that your original intention was to drain the pond, drain the swamp.
Yep.
Yeah. But I'm excited about something authentic is coming. There's going to be some gnashing in teeth and wailing and screaming and fighting and freaking out and terror and fear. Yeah, makes sense.
That happens too. That's been happening though.
Hasn't it though?
Yeah, it's just, they think Revelation's is coming and the apocalypse and it's all going to happen in 5 minutes. It's like it's been happening since the beginning of time.
Yep, that too.
It's just getting faster.
Yeah, it is, for sure.
They're still stoning people over in the East, like for witchcraft. I was talking about that last night. We think that it's 2020, it's the future. Well, in your world it is, but they're still burying people up to their waists and stoning them to death in the East.
Wow. Where's that?
Pretty crazy, right? Like not Saudi Arabia. Yeah, Saudi Arabia. It happened. We had some articles on it that I was reading not too long ago, because people were accused of witchcraft. Now witchcraft to some religions could be, rubbing rocks together. But I don't think it was witchcraft, honestly. I think this was more like infidelity.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But still,
yeah.
I mean, we're not as evolved as we think we are, or else there wouldn't be this pressure going on.
Yeah, I think maybe it's multiple timelines and multiple realities going on the earth right now. Maybe it always has been,
Yeah.
I'm excited about being able to, in Jesus' word, he says, "Be in the world, but not of the world." There is a way to walk like that. These masters, or beings, you can walk through the world and and not have it drain you or affect you or control you or drain your energy. That's interesting to me. That's what I'm looking for and playing with and headed towards. That's where my interest is.
Man, I don't know. I got to tell you, that's easy to do, and from a hermit's point of view in this shack. But you get out there and, like when I was up north in the Pacific Northwest, it gets pretty hairy. You can feel. I mean, that was the first time in my life that I felt a different energy. Like in a different place. Not saying it was dark, not saying it was evil, but it sure wasn't happy. I can tell you that. There was no sun. Everybody was dressed pretty much gothy, or, all of them. And there ain't nothing wrong with trying to figure out who you are, but most of them were confused, and I was told, well, when you go out there, you're from a different world. They're not going to like you. Really? Everybody loved me. Why? I don't know. I like your accent. I like how you are because you're simple or whatever. Like Leonard Skinner said, I'm just be a simple man like Mama says.
There you go. what I'm playing with.
Yeah, but I mean, are you planning on doing any more courses or anything like that? Or are you just
I have no idea. I recommend people still the inner body awakening, the alchemy energy process, and the heart energy. And I'm working on this tree of life breath, which I could probably use for myself tonight. And those are still very good methods, but I don't know what's coming. Yeah. I don't know what's next for me. And it's kind of nice not to need to know.
You just kind of do it when you're ready or when you feel like it, huh?
Yeah, well, the old me, I'm being upgraded or reformatted. So there's I'm releasing a certain archetype, like you said, and there's maybe a new one coming, but I'm not in a hurry to do it.
Yeah, right. I'll slow down a bit. I get it.
Yeah. Right now, I just want to get through detoxing these things in my body.
Well, listen, I mean, I'm glad that you came back on the show. It's been cool talking to you. I knew it was going to be like this. It is cool to talk to you. Hopefully, we won't have to wait 2 years to do it again. But a lot of people want your attention. You got a lot going on, even though you're doing it at a very slow pace, which I admire. I admire your ability to do that. So
I'm kind of was forced to do it,
Right.
I kind of got whacked over the head a little bit, and that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is okay. Yeah. And you guys go to Tobias Lars. Now, real quick though, because we got like a minute here. If somebody wanted to take like one of the first courses you got at your website, tobiaslars.com, do you recommend the first one to take?
Inner Body Awakening.
Yeah, that's the one I got. Inner Body Awakening.
Yep. I would do that. Start with that.
Well, thanks for coming on, man. It's good having you back on here.
Yeah, you're easy. I'm doing very few of these right now just because I need time in my cave a little bit. But yeah, I wanted to do this with you, so it's a little long for me to do, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We're done now.
Yes, we are. Matter of fact, we are going to get out of here. You guys go check it out, tobiaslars.com. Also, find him on Facebook. Just search Tobias Lars. Please don't copy the show without written permission. Thank you to Pacho, Don, Just Rogie, Brad Bernard, our news staff, our news people, Jeremy Scott, Eric Markham, all of you lovely people in the Fringe FM chat. We'll see you guys tomorrow night to start the bidding on Night Stalker. All right. You guys have a good one. Good night.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the Fringe FM, KTLK Digital Broadcasting, its sponsors, affiliates, or staff. Listener discretion is advised.